this guy. Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it. And will this be enough? My God,
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. I am Josh Mabry, alongside my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How are we doing today, sir?
Fabulous.
I know. And as you know, as you can see, we're both wearing some AEW merch. He's got the Adam Cole. I just got the straight up shirt.
Baby.
Yeah, baby. And hey, hope to see you back as soon as possible, Adam Cole. But the reason we're wearing our AEW shirt is because this is actually just a great day for wrestling fans. I think we finally entered the golden era because we finally have two shows that are. We have two different products, two different promotions that we can watch, and it's going to give us quality wrestling. Now, we could talk about the bookings and stuff like that, beside the point, but we're going to have that for at least another 3 years. And it's something that WCW never did. TNA was never reached those heights. Our, Ring of Honor was still kind of an indie thing, but they were at least kind of gotten bigger. But nothing of the AEW. And we've had the reason we're bringing up WCW is because there have been deep pockets that backed another wrestling promotion, and then it just went into the dirt. People were saying, "Oh, AEW's never gonna get that other deal." And blah blah blah. We were saying on this show, it was kind of intimate. Warner Brothers really liked having AEW. For what it pulled in and where the wrestling was, and they could see that it was trending in the right direction, and they wanted to lock it down. And then it was just kind of silent there for a second. So this is about a year and it really started picking up in the past 6 months, and it finally happened. We basically were going back and forth, like, have you seen the details? So we were going back and forth today. Finally, our boy Sean Ross Sapp dropped these details to clarify some things about the Warner Brothers AEW report. The deal is actually closer to 185 million average. Both sides said they didn't provide the $150 million number because that was what Variety was originally saying.
Yeah.
Both Warner's and AEW sources have no knowledge of any equity situation, and reps said they've never been breached on that. Dynamite and Collision will air in their normal time slot and days and also be streamed on Max. We'll get into that part.
Yeah.
This was an important factor for both sides. Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage replays will be in the library. So we finally get the library on Max. Again, that's one thing we were speculating. The reason was trying to figure out, I think, was the streaming stuff. I think they were really trying to nail down the streaming stuff at the end of the day. Pay-per-views will be added to Max for a discounted price. Again, we'll get into that. Rampage will not be featured on Warner's in 2025. So basically, it's getting canceled, which is fine. I mean, Collision and Dynamite were basically the ones that were carrying the storylines, and Rampage was just
has been a nothing burger for a long time. It should go away.
Yeah, it was just basically just another, it was like AEW Dark, which is a bunch of matches. If you want to watch them, cool. If you don't, you don't. And people didn't care because it didn't do that. Plus, you're competing with SmackDown, and that just was a losing battle. It just, it is what it is on that. But, and then, hold on real quick. And then Ring of Honor and True TV were not mentioned in the press material. So still don't know what's going on with Ring of Honor. I'm thinking they'll probably get that to be able to stream on Max, I think, but that hasn't been reported yet. And then Warner's had exclusivity over AEW broadcast content on TV, but now do not. So this is a big win, I think, for the wrestling community. For those people who were wanting this to not happen, you don't like wrestling. I'm sorry, you just don't. Because
read between the lines is a hard
right.
thing to say it.
Yeah, you just don't like wrestling. Because we kept saying for a while, and we've talked about it. This is the 5 years of AEW. We just did that, and we'll go over to the episode, which was another crazy episode. If you told me 5 years ago in 2019 that hey, by the way, they're going to celebrate their 5th year being a company, and their main event's going to be a title versus title match between Bryan Danielson and Takeshita Okada, and I'll be like, okay, whatever, you're funny. And here we are.
Right.
But I think the Max thing and the pay-per-view. So this is kind of something that WWE kind of put themselves in a corner on doing PLEs because you can't go back anymore. If you make those paid to watch, people will not. You'll see buys go down. You'll see people revolt because you've already opened the genie out of the bottle at that point,
Yes.
like on that. Whereas I think the reason they're saying that, like, yes, you can have it on Max, but it can be it still is an easier way to get it and buy it through Max, and I might be at a discounted price. Like they were saying, is discounted price how much I don't know, but at least you're still having people buy it, so you're still getting that because what WWE they're definitely seeing pickup in viewership of the PLEs, but they're still not making that extra money that you could, and I don't know how that's split between Warner's.
Well, that's because WWE can afford to not charge extra for the pay-per-views while they're streaming on Peacock, because you can still buy them separately outside of Peacock for people who, for some reason, don't want to subscribe to Peacock, for the president. And they're not losing money that way. They got so much revenue coming in right now between the TV deals and other stuff that it's like they can afford to do what they're doing with the PLEs on Peacock.
Right.
Where it's like AEW is a whole different animal. Now, first of all, thank you, Jeremy, always being here. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. We'll see. It's like not all the details are there. So yeah, on the plus side, so the big pluses are the content library is going to be on there. I'm assuming also the past pay-per-views are probably going to be on there as well. But
I'm guessing. I didn't see any of that, but I'm guessing when they said all past content, I'm guessing that's included.
So yeah, the pay-per-views will be available through it. Also a good thing. But the part about paying for the pay-per-views, that's dependent on the discount, and we don't know. They said there's a discount. They haven't said how much. So, it depends. Like when which I miss, they had the deal with some theaters like Cinemark to air their pay-per-views in the theater, so you go watch it there instead of at home, which was a really cool thing. And it sucks that they stopped doing that. It's like they switched it to like you can go to like Dave and Buster's. Like as much as I like Dave and Buster's, that's a really noisy environment. Whereas like the theater, it's just you and the fellow fans. So while there's going to be noise, it's not going to be like it's like, and plus there's other sports stuff going on. It's like anyway. The price at the theater was like basically half. So like instead of paying like $50 through whatever provider you're going to choose in your home for the pay-per-view, it was like $25 in the theater. So it was basically cut in half, which was great. Mm-hmm. If there's anywhere close to that, then it'll be that's okay with me. It's got to be substantial. It's got to be anywhere from it's got to be a substantial discount. If it's only like 25% or something, that's going to be rough. If it's like anywhere from 30 to 50% discount on Max to pay for the pay-per-view versus if you're buying it outside of Max, then it'll be worth it.
Right. I mean, if it's like, hey, just pay like 10 or $20, then yeah. But if you're like having someone,
I don't think it'll be 10. If it's the $20 to $30 range, that'll probably be the sweet spot.
Yeah, I'm thinking $20. So because you also have people that need to get the Max subscription just to watch it, because as far as I know, it's just going to be on Max. So it's going to be kind of like UFC and ESPN, where you have to have ESPN to do that.
Yeah. Jeremy, the word is Bleacher Report is they're not going to be doing pay-per-views anymore, which is why that when they announced that's when people suspected that pay-per-view is going to be on Max was in the deal, because they announced recently Bleacher Report they're not going to be doing like wrestling pay-per-view stuff on their service anymore. So it's like that's and they mentioned that specifically. That's why they're not advertising Wrestle Dream being on Bleacher Report, because it's like that deal's done. That's why they're advertising like the Dave and Buster's, Thriller TV. That's probably going to be the popular new place to go if you're not subscribed to like Nax, because that's both in the U.S. and internationally. Thriller TV.
Yeah.
And
did they say that? Because I knew Thriller was overseas, and they haven't really gave any details on what's going
yeah,
to be
because
overseas.
Thriller used to be known as Fight TV, but now it's called Thriller, and they got a lot of pay-per-view stuff on there, including wrestling. AEW stuff was already on there, but now it's going to be more of one of the more go-to places now that Bleacher Report is out of the picture. And plus, they do other promotion stuff, like Impact pay-per-views are on there. The Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling debut pay-per-view event is going to be on there. So, so that's going to be one of the keys is how much of a discount, because it's they really got to make it worth it for people to want to buy the pay-per-views through Max.
Right. And the thing is if you look at it, people are like, well, TNA was around. Yeah, but their biggest pay-per-view buy was Joe and Kurt Angle until Kenny Omega was doing a couple of their pay-per-views within the AEW thing, whereas AEW's pay-per-view buys were always solid.
They were over solid. They were over 100,000 plus, which is pretty solid. It's
pretty solid. So then you put it on Max, which someone like myself that already has Max, I found it as a win for sure. The other thing
I'm gonna have to resubscribe to Max now.
Yeah. We get the library too, so I got to go back and just watch some of the old stuff as well. I think it was a good idea. Now, I think another thing to keep in mind is Swerve accidentally I think he didn't realize he was on camera, but there's been talks with AEW and Fox about getting a show. Now, that's not going to be Rampage, and they also were talking about moving, if they were going to have that show, where was it going to be? Some people were saying, or move Collision to not on Saturday to maybe like a Tuesday, but if they have the third show and they get it on Fox and they put it on Tuesday, that is going to actually be kind of crazy, because if you think about it, they're going to compete with NXT again. And you know how WWE is, when they go ahead to toe to toe with AEW, they bring a bunch of their main roster talent just to boost ratings. And we'll get into how NXT had excellent ratings this past show.
Yeah, but next week, because of the baseball playoffs on the Turner channels, Dynamite is going to be on Tuesday night at a 9 p.m. start time. Yeah. So halfway through NXT, Dynamite's going to go on the air.
Right.
So that explains why they're definitely they were already loading up the two debut shows for obvious reasons to make sure that the ratings were going to be good. But they got the next week's show when St. Louis is loaded. They got the Javon versus Randy Orton. If the rumors are true, Motor City Machine Guns are probably going to show up as well.
Axiom and
because Axiom and Nathan Frazier are defending the tag titles against 8-Time Down Under. So that would be the perfect time to have the Motor City Machine Guns debut if that's all true, which I think it is. But anyway, so they're kind of going head to head. So Dynamite's going up against the second hour of NXT next week, and then after that, then they're going to have the rest of. They're going to have the 10 to 11 all to themselves. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know why they're moving it. There's no baseball teams relevant in the playoffs anyway, right? I had to get that out of my system.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
Anyway, moving on. But yeah, what Jeremy was saying is that
exactly. That's why the discount is important, because UFC pay-per-views are not cheap on ESPN.
No, they're not. They are not. But UFC has that weight. AEW doesn't carry that weight.
No.
That they have, because you're trying.
Your discount. That's supposed to be that's supposed to get people's attention to want to subscribe to Max, which is what Warner Brothers wants.
Exactly. So it's just a smart thing, because it's like, subscribe to Max. I don't want to subscribe to Max and then pay full price for per pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't need to subscribe anyway.
Yeah, if it's full price, then you can go to Thriller TV or your Dave and Buster's and pay the same price. If it's like, why do I need to pay? I'm already paying for a Max subscription. Now I'm paying the normal price of the pay-per-view on top of that. That's why whatever the amount of discount is going to be the biggest incentive for AEW fans to sign up for Max if they haven't already.
Yeah, and for people who didn't know, the deal that they did with TNT, when the first deal they did, it was only like 50 to 70 million a year, and now this is 185.
Yeah, closer to 200, just under 200.
Close to 200. So I know, adjusted for inflation in 5 years, I don't think that number doesn't jump like that unless you know there's a product there that they really like,
Yes.
and plus they know it's going to bring people to Max, which they so desperately need. And this also will stream Collision. Yeah, that's right. I said Collision like that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, one of the biggest draws to Peacock is WWE.
Yes.
It's like I probably would not be subscribed to Peacock if it wasn't for WWE.
No.
It's like that's the main reason why I subscribe to Peacock.
Yeah,
I mean, there's other cool stuff on there, but
right. It's mainly just, do you like The Office? Yeah, and that's pretty much why you like for the reruns of the old shows that are on there. And there's a couple times like Fall Guys on there now. I really enjoy that. That's not what we're talking about. We're not here to talk about Fall Guy, although I did enjoy it. But also too is the fact that you're going to see this will probably, starting in 2025, we're starting to end your ratings sucked debate, because it's simultaneously streaming on Max as also on TNT/TBS.
Dynamite and Collision will also be not only will they be broadcast on TBS and TNT, but they will be live streamed on Max at the same time.
Yes.
So if you don't have like cable satellite or some kind of other streaming TV provider, whether like Sling TV or YouTube TV, to get TNT or TBS, your Max subscription will be enough because you'll be able to watch Dynamite and Collision live on Max.
Right. So a lot of people, I don't know
that's going to be appealing. That's definitely going to be another positive selling point.
Right.
So they're following what WWE is doing with, Raw going to Netflix live. So, so that's also going to appeal to people, and so that's where the rating on is not going to be as important. It's definitely going to be more about how many new Max subscribers are going to get with this deal that are AEW fans that haven't signed up before.
And plus, with there's no Nielsen for like, and plus like Netflix comes out and says, oh, this many people stream this episode, so many people, but I don't know if there's really any data other than what they're reporting. So, I don't know if you could take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how truthful it is. I mean, but you know how it is with even wrestling. It's like, we had 300 million people in here. It's like, well, actually 50, but it's beside the point as far as attendance is concerned. So, but I think that's also, we're just heading in that direction. Starting in 2025, WWE Raw is exclusively going to be on Netflix. So you won't have a rating for that. And then eventually, I think it's only going to be and I think after USA deal, I think they might just go to streaming. I think they're talking about maybe even SmackDown going to Netflix eventually. And so you're just going to have NXT on CW. So there's really getting to a point where you're not going to have the ratings numbers debate or anything like that. You're just going to have is the wrestling show good or not situation, which I like to have rather than, oh, you only did this many ratings, which can sometimes I think is a good and a bad thing because it allows the bookers to mainly just be like, okay, what do they do? What do they do differently? And not, what the viewers want, and then try to overbook stuff, which Tony's been doing just because of where the ratings are. Now that he has his deal, who knows how the booking's going to go. But this is just, and it's great for the wrestlers as well. It's great for the wrestling fans because they still have, basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday of solid wrestling content that you are getting. And then you can check out TNA because I think TNA is on Thursdays, but it's on like a weird way to watch it on there. So it's just, and plus for the wrestlers, there's not just one company to provide for your family and having to travel to indie show and hope your merch sells to get over with indie fans and do all that. It can work, but there's a very 1% of those indie wrestlers. Well, I wouldn't say 1%, but you get what I'm saying. Like there's only a certain tier, like a Matt Cardona or something like that can really be successful on the indie circuit and doesn't need a WWE or an AEW. But now that there's two avenues with two companies with solid pockets to financially help, or not help, but financially put those wrestlers who sacrifice their body year in and year out for our entertainment is a great thing.
Yeah. It's like the people out there who are wanting the AEW to like go under like WCW is just like, it's crazy. It's just like absolutely insane to me. It's like, I don't, it's like it's like those people need to just go away. It's like, you're not real wrestling fans. No, I'm sorry, you're not.
If you don't
if you love wrestling, then it's like you want AEW to be here, because the reason WWE is better today is because of AEW. It's a fact.
Yeah. Plus the senile old man finally got caught.
That also helped.
That also helped, and so then you put a couple of degenerates in charge, and it worked out.
When you have the reason why we got the Attitude Era, it was because of WCW kicking WWE's ass in TV ratings, and it forced Vince to have to come up with good stuff in order to counter it, and that's where we got DX, we got Stone Cold, The Rock, the whole Attitude fucking era, and that allowed them to soar to a whole new high, is because they were under competition. Yeah, and it's like competition forces you to be, you got to be better, because you need people looking at you and not at them.
Yeah. Hey guys, rising tides lifts all ships. I know, that being said,
even if you're not going head to head, that was a little different though, because they were Raw and Nitro were going head to head against each other on the same night. Only for a little while did they have we've seen direct competition where he had NXT up against Dynamite on Wednesdays, when they first moved NXT onto USA Network off of the network. That didn't work out well for NXT ratings wise. So, but now NXT get better ratings than Dynamite, and that's a whole other thing. It's like, but that's all about show quality.
Yeah, it's all about show quality, and it's crazy because the old wrestling heads of the, and I know we listen to Jim Cornette and Eric Bischoff and all those old heads, and that obviously Cornette, we'll get into Cornette probably had his head spinning around during the Ricochet Will Ospreay match, and how, because that's just not his type of wrestling, and we'll get into all that during our review of the show, but and then Eric thought the product was bad and whatnot, and didn't see them getting another deal. He was saying that they weren't. Well, guess what? They got the deal, and at the end of this deal, their Dynamite's going to have more shows than Nitro did, which is crazy of a stat, because I didn't think that's true. But Dynamite will end up having more shows, and more.
Yeah, because Nitro only lasted from 1995 until 2001.
Yeah, so we will have more. And Eric does.
Yes.
I've always, and he always comes, and I've never had like something bad. Like, I've always appreciated Eric Bischoff for what he gave us, because it made wrestling better. He made wrestling better. It's just, there's no argument against that. Okay. He took grasp of a really bad, terrible product and found a way to make it really good. And then he milked it and didn't know what to do afterwards. He booked himself into a corner, couldn't get out of it, and Hulk Hogan had
because WCW 94 and 95 was just like, especially 95 is like, I consider like the worst year in wrestling ever, because both WWE and WCW sucked ass in 1995. They were both bad.
Yeah. 96 was when it really started to take off.
It was really rough to be a wrestling fan in 1995, because both of the big two companies put out just absolute garbage.
Yeah. I think like 96 is the NWO, and then 97, 98 was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that was really was going back. And then 99 and 2000, and there we go. But WWE was still going. And then I remember having a conversation when WCW folded and was bought out by WWE, and where people are like, this is great, we get so many wrestlers. I'm like, is it though? Like, I just saw the writing on the wall. It took a while to get there, but I was like, this WWE, now that they have no one to make them better.
Oh yeah, even back then I knew, I was like, this is not going to be good. And it's like, now they had no competition. It's like TNA tried to be competition. They never came close.
No, and they never had the pocketbooks. They never had the TV deals. I mean, Spike was fine, but it's not TBS or TNA.
And then when they tried to go head to head, TNA tried to go head to head to Raw, it's like it was a disaster.
That Monday night, that was a Monday night. It wasn't a Monday Night War. It was a Monday night, Donnybrook, basically.
Yeah, if you want to see a great breakdown of that utter failure on what happened when TNA tried to do that, go check out Brian Zay did a great video covering that whole period when they that was when Bischoff and Hogan came in and took over, and they decided to try to compete directly with Monday Night Raw, and it didn't work out very well for TNA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's Tony or maybe it was just Warner's. I think it puts more emphasis on the fact of like, hey, WWE's starting Netflix is like, yeah, but AEW is going to be on Max now. So they're always going to be synonymous. It's hey, ride the hotter product. It is just WWE is a hotter product, and it's not like it's a bad thing, but might as well grab onto their coattails and make some money off of it if you can. Like, it's smart.
Yeah, because like now January is going to be it's going to be a big deal period, because you got Raw leaving USA Network, and going to Netflix, and you got the AEW going will be officially be on Max right there.
Yeah. Yes, Jeremy. Tony's already group texted me and Justin. I'm saying like, hey guys, here's the thing. And me and Justin were like, I mean, we have we've been here doing our thing, Tony. So he's trying to tread waters and not make us mad. So it's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay. Between Tony on that. I mean, we're wearing AEW gear, Tony. So I'm just saying. With that, but no, this is I was just smiling ear to ear. I was listening to all our the Wrestle Talks and Sean Ross Sapp and all that, and and Sean Ross has always been a big, like, he's like us. He reports stuff. He works his ass off to report stuff, but he's also a huge wrestling fan. He's big. He always wants to push. It seems like he pushes AEW a little bit. And that's just because he knows that it's going to help his business to have two big wrestling companies as well. And he also will call a spade with that. And of course, Meltzer's happy because he gets his Will Ospreays and Kazuchika Okada's and like all those wrestling matches that he loves to give 8,000 stars to, except for giving a 5-star match to Kurt Angle ever in his career. And they made the right decision with Rampage. At the end of the day, the wrestling won today. So
barely anybody watches Rampage. It's like it doesn't even get like 300,000 viewers.
I honestly forget it's on, and I have it always recorded on that. But I'm just like, everything is done on Collision, and all as far as storylines, everything is done on Collision and Dynamite, and so that's where all the stuff is. And they knew that was probably going to be axed, which it needed to be. Little nugget that was broke today. Elimination Chamber 2025 is headed to United Kingdom March 2025. Ahead of WrestleMania 21.
If it's come from Russell Votes, it's pretty much 99% accurate. It's like it's like Russell Votes. He's got good sources, man. He is very. It's like he's usually not wrong. So.
Yeah. Let me see some other reactions around the wrestling world. Where is JD from New York? Because I think he was kind of the same thing.
He was happy for the deal, but he's worried that things will not improve creative wise, and that's also my concern.
Right.
And also said that people wanting AEW fail can go after themselves.
Yeah, that was the main thing. He was like that. But yes, I understand that now that AEW's got their money, they're not going to care. And I think there's too much with Tony competing with WWE that he's not going to not care. But I understand where his concerns can be.
Yeah.
Now they know that they have their deal, but that 3 years goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you're only as good as your next. Once you get that contract, you know what you're starting to do? Work for the next contract.
So, okay, Elimination Chamber in London, intriguing. They are definitely trying to milk the UK, because I mean, they've had quite the success with taking pay-per-views over to UK. I mean, like Money in the Bank last year did really well there. Then the Clash in the Castles were both big successes. So, and plus, it's like London wants WrestleMania. So, that means another mid-afternoon pay-per-view time. But I will take this over early, like 5 a.m. Eastern time when Elimination Chamber was in Australia this year.
Right.
Due to the time difference.
Yeah.
I'll take a like 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time over that.
And they're also going for like they're not just always just like, oh, UK, that means they're going to go to they're going to go to the big arenas. Like they go to, they're talking about Manchester and Birmingham.
Yeah, they might do it. This might not be in London. It says it's going to be happening in the UK, so it doesn't guarantee it's going to be in London. They might want to do it somewhere else. I mean, Cardiff is possible, because they've done stuff at Cardiff before. But like the Clash of Castles have been really successful in Scotland, so it's like, so not surprised that they want to go back to the UK again real soon. It's like WWE's really the WWE fan base is really strong over in England.
That it is. So that's pretty much all we have. Yeah. Hoping Pete Dunne gets more shine in this.
Oh, he's gonna. You can guarantee any of the UK wrestlers are gonna want to make sure that they're on that. I mean, it's like poor Bronson Reed. It's like due to circumstances outside of his control, I had to miss Elimination Chamber in Australia. Yeah. But
had to be with family.
Yep, family's important.
Yep. So, well, all right. But yay, we get some other wrestling going forward. So let's move on.
Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
Saw an interesting blurb, also from Reservoirs and other people. Apparently, Becky Lynch is still listed on the internal WWE roster, even though she is technically a free agent. And that's also if you also notice, if you look on WWE's website, she's still on there. So that tells you that if she hasn't let them know already, she's eventually going to come back. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. Also, a little nugget. Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring that too. Their podcast. Go ahead.
Yeah. O'Shea Jackson Jr. and then TJ. He's with Rich Eisen, but it's through the Rich Eisen.
Yeah, it's under the Rich Eisen umbrella.
They started their own podcast, and they had literally their first guest was CM Punk, and he was talking about. It's a really cool story. I would say just go over there and watch it. But it was a really cool story about how his Survivor Series and him being debuted. Like he literally was driving to the arena.
Just watching their first podcast before the show started.
Yeah,
because I heard about this and I was like,
and it was cool just seeing O'Shea.
Check it out.
I did like. They're asking when O'Shea Jackson Jr. asked him, he was like, "So what's the M stand for?" He goes, "It was initially going to be Cube Man Punk," and they both all laughed about that with the Ice Cube reference. But they were saying about how he was driving to the arena and just chilling outside.
No Contest Wrestling. It's No Contest Wrestling is the name of the podcast.
Okay. But yeah, you all can watch it on YouTube and all that other stuff. After you watch us, then go over there and watch them.
Yeah, they're doing the episode is going to be released. It's every Monday. Yeah, the CM Punk ended up being a two-parter because they got to talk for like 2 hours. It's like,
right.
Yeah, they're gonna. If you know, it's like O'Shea Jackson Jr. It's like you follow him on social media. You know that there's a lot of things you love, and one of his big loves is professional wrestling.
Yeah, I think he tweets more about professional wrestling than he does anything else. It seems like
the only other thing I've seen him tweet about as close to as professional wrestling would be the fact that he's a massive Godzilla fan, which is why when he was in Godzilla King of Monsters was like a fucking dream for him because
Gotcha.
he's a massive Godzilla fan, which is one of the other reasons I like him. Besides the fact he's a pro wrestling fan.
Yeah, and he's a good actor.
So yeah, I mean, they mentioned that they're going to be talking, not just having guests, but also talking about what's going on in wrestling. Like they said that they're going to talk about both the Dynamite anniversary and about Bad Blood on the next episode.
Yeah,
give their thoughts on what's going on. So, yeah, no, it was it's like it was wild hearing him give like all these little details that we hadn't heard about the night he came back at Survivor Series. How like literally, this is how it's like they were signing the contract for him to return to WWE. Him and Triple H were in an office getting that ironed out while the War Games main event was going on.
Right. And
so they literally got the ink. The ink was still wet on his new WWE contract when he went out there at the end of the show.
Yeah. And he was saying that he was standing there in Gorilla. Of course, it's the main event's going on. So he's like, there's a bunch of people because they're trying to get reactions and all this commotion's going on. And next thing I know, I just feel someone come up behind, just wrap their arms around me. And I hear a big bear hug and I hear, I knew it. I knew it was you. And it was Bailey.
Bailey snuck up behind Punk and gave him a giant bear hug, welcoming him back to WWE. Because they told people to clear out of the hallway so they could sneak him in because they wanted to keep this as top secret as possible.
Right.
So, and also I loved how he goes, I looked over, I saw Will Riggo, and Riggo was like,
yeah, he was like, he did the Paul Rudd, like, look at us.
Look at us.
Who would have thought?
And that there was some confusion about like what he was supposed to do.
Right.
And certainly didn't rip off his headset because there was so much going on. And also the fact I love he's like, when I went out there, it was so loud I couldn't even hear Cult of Personality.
Right.
The fans were so loud he couldn't even hear his theme song.
Yeah. And he was telling him, he
said it was like being in a jet engine.
Yeah. And he was because him and this is how just Triple H's mind worked because they're still trying to get this done. So Triple H already had in mind what he wanted Punk to do, and he was trying to give him direction on before, like, and his music playing, all this stuff was going on. And he was like, "Go out to the cage," and he was like, "Okay." Like the cage there, he goes, "I didn't see the set. I don't know." He's like, "Go out to the cage," and he meant like the two cages that the guys were in. And so finally, he's like, "Go out to the what?" And he's like, Triple H, like you saying, Triple H ripped his head off. Goes, "No, the two cages beside himself. Go there."
Okay.
And then my music was literally playing as he's telling me this. So it's just that those things.
That explains why it took when his music played. It took a while for him to come out because he and Triple H were having a miscommunication about how he's supposed to do what he was supposed to do when he walked out there.
So well,
it's wild. Also, my favorite was he was in his car sitting in the parking lot waiting to be brought in. So he was hiding out in his car in like a hoodie and stuff. And he realized that the production truck that his car was parked next to had Stone Cold's face on it. Mm-hmm. So he took a selfie of that and texted it to Stone Cold. And Stone Cold was like, "What the fuck, man?" It was like,
WTF, kid. WTF, kid.
Yeah. WTF, kid.
Yeah. I know.
Also,
cool. Yeah.
I love his Stone Cold impression.
Bruiserweight push, yes. Oh, he's Triple H.
Well, I'm hoping it happens. It feels like Triple H is finally getting the Bruiserweight back to prominence with what's been going on with him on NXT and Raw. So hope so.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Check out the whole interview. They asked some really good questions. That's what I liked about it. It's like they asked like Punk some really good questions. So I really liked it. I'm definitely going to keep checking it out.
Yep. Definitely different perspective when you've got someone that's been in Hollywood and all of that and never feigned his love of wrestling with that. So here we are to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's a recap of what happened on last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Show opened with Randy Orton cutting a promo saying that he's glad to be back on SmackDown after his feud with Gunther. And called out Cody Rhodes talking about what's going on between him and Roman Reigns. Cody explained things, what's going on here to him. He takes time to kill the blood and hopes Orton doesn't have a problem with that. Then Kevin Owens came out before he could say something. The Bloodline interrupted, and that led to Kevin Owens challenging the Bloodline to a tag match with him and Randy Orton later in the show. Nia Jax is pissed off at Tiff Stratton about what happened last week and actually grabbed her throat and choked her and threatened her. Seems like the cash-in is probably not far around the corner for Money in the Bank. Then Bayley and Naomi, number one contender match. Winner would face Nia Jax for WWE Women's title at Bad Blood. Bayley picked up the victory. Andrade and LA Knight ran into each other back. Andrade wasn't pleased with the lack of handshake and respect after Knight beat him last week, saying that he's lost some respect for him. Before LA Knight could really respond, Carmelo Hayes jumped him and laid LA Knight out. Carmelo Hayes and Andrade then had another banger match, but in their tie, this time Hayes won after LA Knight came out, and that distracted Andrade and allowed Carmelo to roll him up for the pin, tying their best 7 series at 3 apiece. Cody was talking with Randy and Kevin in the back. Orton told Cody that he would appreciate they have their back against the Bloodline because of what they usually try to do. AJ Styles' return to SmackDown was hyped for next week. Then we had Michin taking on Piper Niven ahead of Michin taking on Chelsea Green, a dumpster match in next week. Despite Heel's efforts, Michin beat Piper to pick up the victory, give her some more momentum. Next week, they announced that the Bloodline would defend the tag team titles in a ladder match against DIY and the Street Profits. And let's see, Tiffany and Naomi got into each backstage, and they set up a match between them next week. Then the main event tag match, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton against the Bloodline. Thanks to some unintended distraction by Cody coming out to fend off Bloodline shenanigans, Referee was distracted, and that allowed the Bloodline to cheat and pin Kevin Owens for the victory. Kevin Owens and Cody started arguing after the match, but Orton played peacemaker between them to close out the show. So that's all that happened on last week's episode of Friday Night Smackdown.
I mean, that freaking Mello, they're just so good,
I'm
good.
glad-
Here,
so glad.
I'll let Gift Taylor. I mean, just
Yes,
it's
he is.
so good.
He is him. He is money.
I mean, this match carried the show. This match would have this
Yes.
show would have been a C at best.
Yeah, this was like almost like a nothing show.
It was.
If it wasn't for the Mello Andrade match, it's like I wouldn't have much else positive to say about this show.
No,
This episode, it was like
because it was so just kind of like getting to this go home show. Because you didn't have a Roman, and then you did carry on the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes thing, but that was, I don't know, it just felt just forced with that. So I just didn't really care for that whole back and forth because I saw where it was going. It's like he was literally like, hey, don't come out there. All right. Then Randy was like, come out there. All right. And then they were getting into it at the end, and then Randy was like, hey. And I'm like, is this leading to Randy turning? Like, I don't. Just because it's written on the wall that Kevin Owens is turning, and then it's Randy that ends up turning. And then the Bayley Naomi match, you would think there'd be shenanigans. No, they just straight up just had Bayley go over on her.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know. And I know they're trying with Mia Yim and Michin, but it's not working. I'm a big Mia Yim fan, and I think she's great. But
I'm hoping that her and Chelsea Green have do well with the dumpster match tomorrow night.
Yeah. Because I've really liked. It's just because they're trying to build that mid card female division.
They are. They're trying to build up some feuds in the mid card outside of the title picture, which is always appreciated. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that NXT really tries to focus on. It's like, but that's why I feel like And I know some of the women's wrestlers have been very vocal in supporting this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Introduction of, I think like the women's North American Championship in NXT was like a test.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be very beneficial to have like a mid card title for the women on the main roster on the show.
I think that's what they're leading to. This is what they're like trying to fill out because they need.
Because like the tag division, they're still it's up and down. I think it'd be more beneficial to have another singles title that allows some women to finally have something. Because I'd love to see Mia Yim have a title around her waist. It's like honestly, at some point.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Because she's really good.
But
I just really enjoy her.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was well done. Good promo work from all three teams. This definitely feels like they're teasing this.
Yeah.
With the way Nia was treating her and literally like choking her is like, and it makes sense because she's really over. Tiffany's been over ever since she came to the main roster. It's like the fans like her.
Yep.
It's like there's why I mean, it started at Elimination Chamber in Australia when they were chanting. They went nuts for her and they were chanting Tiffy time a lot during that match. And you saw what happened at Money in the Bank. Fans went nuts when she won Money in the Bank. That there was a lot of Tiffy time chants. It's like she's really over. So if they do a fake, it'd be kind of ironic if she turns on Nia Jax to do the cash in, and it's not considered a heel turn; it's considered a face turn. That would be kind of interesting.
It would for sure.
I think that's something that you and I are probably gonna be looking for on Saturday while we're watching Bad Blood. Is Tiffany? Are they gonna? Is it? I will be surprised if a cash in is teased, but will it happen?
Maybe.
Because
I don't know.
It definitely feels like they're setting the wheels in motion. They're accelerating the wheels for Tiffany to turn on Nia and cash in with the way she's treating her.
Yeah. And just go back to it. Melo, Andrade.
Thank God it's best of 7.
After that first match, I mean, I like being right sometimes because I knew what we were going to get. So after that first match, I was like,
yeah, you and a lot of people are saying, let just best of 7, please. And
yes.
and that's what we got.
Yeah. And plus LA Knight just being a part of that because
exactly. And now this is all part of the US title scene now because both Melo and Andrade are trying to get their hands on the US title. So that sucks LA Knight into the whole thing. And it's like I'm digging it.
And they're making the men's mid card titles are now just like not just there.
Yeah,
like
they're not afterthoughts. It's like it's like they're important. It's like they're treated like they're important.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that you've been seeing that that come around this year. It started with Gunther's record-breaking Intercontinental title reign, and what Logan Paul was doing, and then now LA Knight, he's a fighting champion. What it's like, what happened with the IC title? Jay just won it over from Braun. So yeah, but other than that, it was just like not much else happened. It's like okay, yeah. KO Cody still in problems. Okay, yeah, what yep. No surprise.
Jacob Fatu, he's still really good.
Yep.
Thank you. Now we know that. Okay. It's just it's kind of crazy we're saying that about something with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton and the Bloodline, and we're like, it's just another Friday, but it's just because nothing really stood out compared to what we
lack
got.
of Roman also definitely is a negative, but he'll probably show up tomorrow night for the go home. I would assume. So yeah, that was SmackDown. It was right.
That's SmackDown. Like I said, it's probably a C+ show.
Yeah,
B- because of Melo and
Andrade. Melo, Andrade, and LA Knight. That whole thing was the highlight of the show.
Yeah, for sure. And and the Tiffy Nia stuff.
Yep,
just good stuff there.
So,
all right, let's go on to Raw.
It's almost time.
It's almost time, guys. It's TikTok as another guy who can't get over says.
All right, here's a recap of what happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Show opened with Jace cutting a promo, celebrating with the fans, him winning the Intercontinental title last week. Braun Breaker came out and looked like he was doing a babyface heel turn as he offered a handshake and respect Jey Uso for beating him for the title last week. Jay returned it, saying there was a lot of dogs in the area tonight as well. Then we had Rey Mysterio taking out Xavier Woods. Woods accidentally pulled Rey's mask off, which distracted him and allowed Woods to roll him up for the cheap victory. Fans didn't like that. He told Kofi later in the back that it was he did not do it on purpose. Then we had Lyra Valkyria taking on Zoe Stark. Thanks to shenanigans from rest of Pure Vision Collective, Zoe Stark picked up the victory. They went for a 3-on-1 beatdown on Valkyria after the match, but Cardi and Katana Chance made the save due to Natalya and Selena Vega having been mentioned to not be in the arena that night and chased the heels off. A face-to-face, final face-to-face between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk was held in the ring with the Hell in a Cell. Adam Pearce had a bunch of security guys to keep the two from attacking each other. They each promised to destroy each other at the pay-per-view. More good stuff between the both of them. Braun Strowman was talking to Miz in the back when R-Truth returned to interrupt. He told Miz that he booked a match between them and AOP for later in the show, much to Miz's dismay. The LW took on Judgment Day, a 6-man tag. Good stuff here. Finn Balor finally arrived to attack the LW and cause a distraction, allowing JD McDonough to hit his finisher and pick up the victory. Afterwards, Finn Balor promised Damian Priest he was going to take care of him at the pay-per-view. Rhea Ripley came out to interrupt Liv Morgan's promo with a shark cage to taunt Dominic Mysterio. Her and Liv brawled. Damian Priest came out and attacked Judgment Day, tried to get his hands to Finn Balor, but the numbers came caught up to him, and they laid him out. Sheamus cut a promo challenging Pete Dunne to a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match next week. Joe Tessar and Wade Barrett took a moment for WWE to pay tribute to Pete Rose, legendary baseball player who also WWE Hall of Famer, sadly passed away early in the day. Damage Control cut a promo vowing to win the women's tag team titles again from Bianca and Jade. Chad Gable took on Kofi Kingston. Woods tried to help, but while he was messing around with American Made, he tripped Chad Gable, which caused Kofi to miss Trouble in Paradise, and that allowed Gable to hit the Rolling Chaos Theory on him to pick up a victory, as New Day argued after the match as their issues continue. Wyatt 6 after another video. Then Gunther came out to cut a promo. Sadly, the announcers revealed that Ilya Dragunov was injured in a live event over the weekend. ACL injury that will keep him out 6 to 9 months. Awesome. Terrible news. Sami Zayn came out and finally got under Gunther's skin enough that he attacked him and finally gave him the world title match for next week on Raw. Also, Truth took on Authors of Pain. When R-Truth made the hot tag to Miz, the Miz then turned on R-Truth, laid him out, and walked away, much to Karrion Kross's delight. And AOP finished off R-Truth to pick up the victory. Gunther was with Kaiser in the back, so he's not worried about Sami Zayn facing him for the world title next week on Raw. Braun Breaker came up, took a nice loving look at the world title and told Gunther he'll be seeing him in the near future. And then we had the main event, Last Monster Standing, between Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. All kinds of chaos in this match. At one point, Reed speared Braun through a barricade in the front row, knocking over planted fans. Looked like Reed had the match won with some tsunamis, but the ref was distracted by what had happened. Reed lost his cool and attacked him in security. He went after Adam Pearce and looked like he was going to attack him as well. Braun Strowman recovered, and that led to a superplex spot, which destroyed the ring. As both men were trying to get back to their feet, the crowd went nuts as Seth Rollins finally returned and got some payback on Bronson Reed. He stomped Reed onto the steel steps to knock him silly, so he couldn't get up. And Braun Strowman beat the 10 count and won the match. So that was all that happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw.
I do want to add, I did get reported, I don't know if you saw it and confirmed it, but apparently Braun Strowman tore his groin.
That's the word. It's like I know
he was hobbling to get him to the chairs.
Right. And even like I was watching like JD from New York's post show review, and he's like, I think Strowman may have injured himself. It's like he was not running at full strength after a certain point in the match. I think he got hurt. And it's like, so that's why I'm not surprised. I hope it's not too serious. It's like if torn groin is pretty serious, it's like that. If so, that sucks.
Yeah, because like when he was running to hit
he was not running. He was not moving at full speed.
No, to hit Bronson, he was not running. He looked like he was running like Forrest Gump with braces on his legs. That's kind of like the movement he was making. You could tell he was hobbled a little bit.
Yep.
On that. And
so if he finished the match with a torn groin, dear God, man, that's like. That's
and
like
he still was able to stand up to get.
Yeah, that's like Cody doing Hell in a Cell against Seth with torn pack, kind of like.
Yeah.
How the hell did he do that?
So hopefully it's just a strain. That's not bad, but yeah, I just hate, especially after that main event. That main event was fun as hell.
Yes.
But we'll get into that because I want to save more time for that and kind of go over the rest of the show. Yeah, that's a kind of a great comparison.
You know that I kind of like that comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean O'Haire, he was one of those wrestlers like in the top 10 of what could have been. Sean O'Haire was one of those guys.
Absolutely.
I just always liked his look. He was in ring was great. His mic skills were terrible, but so's Karrion Kross's mic skills aren't that great either, and his in ring skills aren't that great. So yeah, Sean O'Haire. So but that just never.
So what do you want to start with this episode of Raw?
I want to start with that first segment.
Okay.
And Jay. And with him, giving and then them putting the blue on the IC title,
yes.
I like the way they did the accent. It's not. It gives it more color. It doesn't make it look as dull. Because I've always been a fan of the OG white belt, gold. I think it was Cody that brought that back when he was dashing Cody Rhodes. I believe he was the one that brought back the old school IC title at that point when they had that run with it until they did this one. But Braun Breaker going face this quickly? I didn't see that happening. Or am I reading that wrong? Or are they trying to turn Braun Breaker face within 6 months?
As soon as he was being all respectful, two thoughts in my head. I'm like, either they're turning Braun face right now, or this is he's doing a fake out and he's gonna like jump him either. Would at least expect it early in the show. But then the segment with Gunther happened before the main event. And I was like, oh, okay. They are doing a face turn.
Yeah. Which
I get because like Tiffany, Braun's really over.
Right.
Even though he's a heel.
And plus it was kind of when Jay said any dogs in the house and everyone started barking. It's basically just saying
that's the other thing. Jay gave him respect back, say, there's a lot of dogs here tonight.
Yeah.
And you heard and the crowd barked. So it's like
it is nuts of how much like it's Jay's show of just the crowd and how much merch and how many Yeet shirts and how many there's gotta and I don't know, maybe it's just because I noticed it and it stuck out, but there was 75% of those signs were Yeet signs. And so it's just you can't deny Jey Uso. And other than I just can't get his brother's match out of my head because it was just so disappointed in that. But other than that, Jay can work with anybody. And plus just hard work pays off. I mean, I just always love
and plus a nice moment with his son there before he went out into the arena.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was kind of we're gonna get going through maybe not WrestleMania, but maybe I don't know.
it's not going to happen anytime soon. He said, "I'll eventually." He goes, "Eventually, you're going to see me." So
yeah,
that's foreshadowing that they are going to have a throwdown over the world title, and I can't wait. Also, fun fact: Braun is one that is on the short list of people who have defeated Gunther clean on the WWE roster, besides Ilya Dragunov and Sami Zayn.
yep. Never mind. Didn't Baron Corbin beat him in like a Survivor Series style match or something? Pin him or something?
I pretend the Survivor Series match didn't happen because he jobbed out really quickly in that match.
Yeah.
And I try to pretend
He
it.
dropped out in like 2 seconds.
It's like fuck you, Vince. Fuck you, Vince.
Gosh, you would. Oh man, when talent's staring you in the face, you still don't get it. Anyway, let's just push the same 6 wrestlers for 8 years. Dude, when Sami Zayn, and maybe I was just paying too much attention to it. Who the hell was standing in the hallway?
What? It was Drew. Drew McIntyre was the one who pinned him in the Survivor Series match.
Okay. Sami was cut.
Yeah, it's like Ilya defeated him to end his UK championship title reign. Braun beat him on NXT in 2022 clean. So yeah, it's like not counting the Survivor Series match. Braun is on the short list of people who have actually defeated Gunther in the ring while he's been in WWE. Otherwise, he has been just like he's most of people. So that's a perfect setup because it's like that shows you the faith that they have in Braun. Like they know they got the talent, and he's getting over. I knew he was going to get over on the main roster. I'm surprised it's happening this quickly.
Yeah.
That was a great tease of a future banger main event. Could happen at Mania. It's definitely going to happen sometime It's going to happen sometime next year. It's going to be. It's around the corner.
You know why he's this good, right? And why he's this over? It's because he teamed up with Baron Corbin. He got that Baron Corbin bump, man.
Wolf Dogs, baby.
War Dogs. I still love that. I still go back and just watch some of their segments. They were so good together. Just have them team up all the time. Just do it. I don't care. Yes, I'm like the one of like 2 people that still appreciate Baron Corbin. Xavier Woods and the New Day, they are just finding cool ways to make this story and make it intriguing. With Woods been like, I'm so sorry, Ray, that he accidentally pulled his mask off to win. And it was a solid match either way. And I just like what they're doing. And then when I forget who was doing the segment, it might have been Gunther and Braun, and had the New Day in the background arguing. And then there was online, there was a digital, off the air of them just going back and forth. And I think we might just get a full on New Day heel turn at the end of the day. What say you about that?
It's like they are really pushing hard on the Xavier Woods heel turn. They're making believe it's going to happen, and if it does, I will be impressed that they had the guts to pull that trigger at this point.
Do you think it's a full New Day?
No. I think it's just Woods is going to turn.
Okay.
Kofi's not turning. Kofi cannot. Kofi cannot be. I don't think at this point his career can be a convincing heel. Xavier Woods can. Xavier Woods has the acting chops and the personality to be effective heel.
Yeah,
that's why they're doing this.
Because
that was not an accident. It's like he didn't accidentally take Ray's mask off. It's like,
yeah. So, hey, guess what? The Miz is becoming like the Big Show. Like he's gonna go face and heel. This
is good for Karrion Kross because Karrion Kross, being the devil whispering in people's ears, is definitely having an effect because it looks like Xavier Woods is heading to the dark side, and Miz decided to beat him to the punch and just did a full heel turn on R-Truth to get mega heat. It's like that's the easiest way to make sure that you're going to get heat as a heel. You turn on someone's beloved R-Truth. So
yeah,
I had a feeling that was coming. They've been teasing the heel going back, Miz going back heel for a while, especially with what happened with the Bronson Reed stuff.
Are you worried about your girl Lyra?
Nah.
Okay, I'm just making
Nah.
sure. Hey, again, they are trying to build out the mid
Yes.
card for the.
I'm not worried. I mean, it's like the way that they gave her that push in King of the Ring, they definitely see something in her. It's just that I wouldn't put her into the title picture right now either because she's just going to lose. So at least they're giving her something to do. It's like it's just that pure garbage collective, as I like to call them. I just don't give a fuck about right now.
Yeah. Breaking news, Justin. The Mets won the series against Brewers.
Yes, I saw. They looked like they were DEAD dead in the top of the ninth. But it's like this is why
playoff baseball is awesome.
That's why playoff baseball is awesome.
Yeah, you can't beat it. Anyway, but I do want to bring that shout out. Congratulations to the Mets. You finally are not cursed. You've broke your curse at this point.
It sucks. Yankees Royals. Game 1 is starting at the same time as Bad Blood on Saturday. So
right, I know. I saw that. I was like, oh, Tushka's got the advantage over you because we have to stay focused on Bad Blood. And you're already going to be pissed leading into it for other reasons.
I'm going to be periodically checking on that game during Bad Blood.
Yeah. With that, but dude, okay. Speaking about Bad Blood, that was an awesome promo between Punk and.
Yes. Number one,
McIntyre.
Thank you, Triple H. Thank you, Triple H, for bringing back the OG Cell.
Yes.
No more red bullshit Cell.
Did you notice they painted over it though? They used some of the same materials because I could see in the door there was a little bit of red. They painted over that. That's because they didn't, they recycled it. They repainted over it. But I saw a little bit of red. Unless, Giff, you're still there. Was I seeing something? But I swear to God, they just painted over it.
Also, did you see that in certain sections on the wall, there's footholds so you can be able to climb up top.
Yep. I saw all that. So yes, thank you for that. Great promos.
You think that they would run out of material at this point between the two of them, but McIntyre and Punk reminded everyone once again why this feud has cooked.
Yes.
Since it began after the Rumble. Well, it's taken up the majority of the year here at this point. They once again delivered great promo work here. I love the whole setup where Pierce had all these security guys to make sure that they do not get their hands on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they did not get their hands on each other.
Yeah. And I liked how McIntyre wore his basically like he was going to a funeral.
Exactly. I love that. I loved his whole, like, he goes, it's like, you taught me how to hate. Hate is a powerful. I was like, oh yeah, this is. And then Punk's rebuttal was like, you're not gonna be praying to God or devil. You're gonna be praying to me. And it's like, when it's you could be begging for your life. Yeah, I'll see you in hell.
Yeah, I like the. Yeah, I'll see you in hell. And then
or also I've been sleeping in a hotel. It's like away from my wife. It's like,
right, because I don't like what you've made me become. I don't want to be around them, type of thing.
Yeah,
and you've turned me into the fictitious boogeyman my harshest critics portray me to be, and I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
it's so meta, but so great.
Yes.
You were back for a year. You've been injured for 4 months, and you're going to be gone forever. It's all because of Drew McIntyre. I'm like, yep, that's pretty much. That's how you bookend.
No, I like what they're saying. They're like, this is the end, and it's like Thunderdome. 2 men are going to walk in. Only one is going to walk out on their own 2 feet. Mm-hmm. It's like they're promising. They both promise blood. I believe Triple H is going to allow them to bleed.
Yeah. Do you
if there's ever time of we need blood or there will be blood, it is for this Hell in a Cell match.
Yep.
There needs to be blood. They both need to have crimson masks on to show, because it fits.
Bring back Hell in a Cell to be that again.
And Punk talked about that on O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s podcast, where he's like, he cares about this stuff. He's like, he goes, they turned Hell in a Cell into just another thing. He goes, it's like for a gimmick like that with its history, it's like it's not about okay. Let's take this match and put it in the cell. It's about okay. Does this feud belongs in Hell in a Cell? This is the only way to end the feud.
Yes.
And I was like, that's exactly what we've been saying for months. That's why everyone, as soon as like they announced that the word was that they're bringing back the Bad Blood pay-per-view, as soon as that happened, everyone was like, Hell in a Cell. I was like, yes, we're right along with them. It's like this feud has earned being in Hell in a Cell because it's like, especially you look back at the OG early day history, you know, it's like what was going on between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels was like it got so nasty and personal that it's like they had to create a whole new type of cage match to contain them. It's like the brutality. It's like Punk gets it. It's like that's why he's so good. So it's like this feud has earned to have its blow off be a Hell in a Cell match, and I believe knowing the kind of and he praised both Drew and himself that their work has earned their feud to have the blow off inside Hell in a Cell as it should be.
Yeah, because
it is a testament to both Punk and Drew, the work that they have put into this feud. For it, you feel like everyone is pumped for this. It's like because it's like knowing these two and how much they love the business, and you know, it's like and everything that's happened in this feud. It's like there will be blood, there will be carnage. It's gonna feel like it's gonna harken back to Undertaker Mankind, to Undertaker Shawn Michaels, where it's like you feel the hate. You feel it's like that. Oh my God! And it's like they're definitely going to try to do some oh my God moments safely, not to the extent where
right.
you have it. It's like it's hopefully not as crazy as you know Mankind being tossed off the top of the cell, which was planned, and not choke slam through the top of the cell, which was not supposed to happen and nearly killed the man.
Right. Yeah, and speaking about cells, the whole Judgment Day, Terror Twins. I'm ready for Bad Blood at this point because that was kind of like they're spinning their tires. The only thing that was really highlighted with this episode of Raw is I think we're gonna get Raquel back to help Liv.
I'm agreeing with the speculation that this is Dom going in the shark cage is a perfect setup to make you think, oh, Rhea's got this down. Dom's locked in the cage. He can't interfere. Liv is a dead woman walking. She's going to win the title back. Surprise! It just feels like a setup for a swerve where you think Rhea's got this, and then bam, nope, she doesn't.
Right, because if you let Rhea go over Liv, you can't have Liv go back. Like you have to have Liv with the title.
Right. Plus, they can get more mileage out of this, and now it's like it has a whole new problem. It's like. Right. And plus, also, there isn't really a top heel outside of Liv that you feel would be a good challenger for Rhea. Having Raquel come back as a heel, that's where it's like, oh, okay, now Rhea's got a problem because number one, they have history, and number two, Raquel's beaten Rhea. Mm-hmm. Raquel beat Rhea for the dethroned Rhea as NXT Women's Champion.
Yep. So, and in the Triple H era. All things that have happened in the past did actually happen in the past and wasn't like...
They will reference that.
They will reference it.
Yeah. And you know the two... And if you know that the fact that both Rhea and Raquel are really good friends in real life, that they're probably itching at the chance to have rekindle the feud that they have in NXT on the main roster. And plus, it'll be good for Raquel to help you because like she's been gone for so long. I think people almost forgotten her, so this would be a perfect way to be like a shock, like, oh my God, Raquel Rodriguez, we haven't seen her in months. What is she doing? You know, it's like because last time we saw her, she was a babyface. Mm-hmm. The last time we saw her was at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think the Wyatts are targeting?
I don't know.
That's the one thing I was like watching. I'm like, I don't know who they're. And a lot of people are thinking that at the end that was Alexa Bliss. I was like, no, that was
No,
Nikki. I don't know
that's
how.
Nikki. That's Nikki. In still in Sister Abigail mode.
Yeah, I didn't follow the QR code, so I don't even know what that was.
No, me neither.
So
It's not my
if anybody followed the QR code, let us know. But it was basically like, there was like 6 people that I saw online that people were throwing out that the Wyatts are going to target because you left your family type thing. So who knows what they're doing. Let's see. And then obviously the Sammy Gunther, he finally got his match. We don't know when it is, though.
He finally poked the bear hard enough for him to finally get a respond.
Yeah.
It's like he did it a pretty effective way.
Yeah.
And I like that Sammy got up and was like smiling like I got you.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be one of the top.
No.
But I like how this has been built up because it makes sense because it's like Gunther. It did get under. It would get under Gunther's skin that his historic Intercontinental title reign was ended by Sammy at WrestleMania. It's like it's like even though he pretends like it was of course it's a big deal. It's like no one likes to lose.
No.
Especially to someone who he thinks is not as good as him. So, but yeah, like the Braun Gunther tease. That's like I said, I was like, okay, yeah, no, face turn is happening.
Yep. Okay, now let's get to the monsters. The last monster standing match. This was fun as hell, man.
Yes, it was.
It was from
great. I love
bell.
Some great spots like the spear. First through the first barricade, right by where Samantha Irving usually sits, and then the other one onto the poor fans, aka plants.
Right.
I love that it looked like it was they were showing that after like 2 tsunamis, Braun was out. He should have had the match won, but the referee was still distracted by what happened, and then he started just attacking people. Mm-hmm. And then it's like he went after Adam Pearce. I was like, oh boy. It's like if Braun was hurt, how that it's like the fact that he was able to do that spot off the top rope, dear Lord, man. And then it's like you knew for a match like this they were going to pull out the ring is destroyed spot, and I was fine with it because it's like it's still a cool visual, and the fans still popped for it and went holy shit, it's like, but the finish was I thought was fantastic. It's like I saw because like. It's like the camera was great where like you saw someone all of a sudden coming out and running down the aisle, but because of like the lighting and the shadow, you couldn't see whose face it was. And I was like, at first I was like, who the hell is that? And then I looked close enough. I was like, oh wait a minute, that's got to be Seth.
Right.
And then and then as soon as the fans realized who it was, they went bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect way to have Seth return. Cost Bronson Reed the match, helping Braun win. And so now it's like that's going to add even more fuel to this feud between Seth and Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed was just like, you motherfucker. It's right. Like he was like foaming at the mouth after the match. You could see it.
Yeah, it was I'm not done with you. He kind of mouth what
they foreshadowed it with him threatening to like end when Seth came back he was gonna end his career.
Yeah.
So and it made perfect sense that knowing how Seth operates as a character, that his immediate reaction would be like, you tried to destroy me. It's like it's payback time, bitch.
Yeah, I did like R-Truth was like, you got 6 tsunamis. I did.
Like, I did.
It's like when did that happen?
Yeah, I got some match against
Right.
R-Truth.
It's just every time I'm like, okay, this shtick's over, and then he's just so good. You can't deny it.
He's special.
Yeah, he is a special talent. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've got for the show. Anything else?
Yeah, no, it was a good fun show, and also the final 3-hour Raw this year. We don't know if it's going to be permanent, but we will going to enjoy Raw going back to 2 hours through the rest of the year, and see what happens.
Yeah,
I'm expecting a much more focused, more leaner show, because that starts this Monday after the pay-per-view, and it's like we're shortening it down to 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to it.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the Bad Blood card. And
Yes,
there's a
let's
rumor
go over the Bad Rock.
of what the card's supposed to look like. So, currently planned according to Cody Hayes. So, who knows if this is actually true, but it kind of all seems.
There's a lot of reports about well, there's word that because like everyone expected, myself included, that Drew Punk would Hell in a Cell would be the main event, but then the Cody Roman versus Bloodline tag match was created, and it was just like, okay, wait a minute. It's like, and then as word started to be like, okay, they're thinking of having the tag match be the main event and not the Hell in a Cell. At first, I was like, wait, what? Look, I get, yes, it's Cody Roman, and it's an important storyline, but then it's like, then people are like, well, guess who's in Atlanta right now? Is like, and then the whole off the air video that McAfee put out on Instagram, social media of him and Cody talking off air, like, is the big guy coming back? Who?
Right.
I think he just
confirmed it.
That's when everyone was like, The Rock, and it was just like, okay. The only justification that that works is if something really major is going to happen during or after that tag match. And if it's The Rock coming back to get back involved into this Bloodline storyline with Roman against Solo, then it makes sense that you want to have that close out the show. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, as much as I know it makes sense, and it's just like, see, like here's the differences, and here's my opinion on it. You have probably arguably the best feud of the year.
Yeah,
arguably, but I think it is next to Swerve and Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
They've been building for this. They finally get the Hell in the Cell. This is literally, I think they created Bad Blood, but the thing is with the Bloodline, so there was a double. I think they were always going to have Roman at Bad Blood because the Bloodline, Bad Blood, and then so we were always going to have this conversation of, because it's like, what do you do with Roman and what do you do with CM Punk and McIntyre, because they've worked their ass off to earn the main event spot. Plus, it's Hell in a Cell. Why would you do a Hell in a Cell match to kick off the show? And why, instead of ending it with a thing? The only reason you end it with the tag team, not just because it's Roman and Cody, and would you end it with a non-title match? You end it with a non-title match because the match deserves it. The story deserves it.
Yeah, something is going to happen that's important to close out the show. And also, Cody said it on air while he was on McAfee that something's going to happen at Bad Blood that's going to have massive implications for him defending the WWE title at the Crown Jewel, which is the next event before Survivor Series.
Yeah. So it just screams The Rock is coming back. You just don't. It's kind of like when Sammy turned on the Bloodline. There was a reason they had Kevin at Royal Rumble. There's a reason they had Kevin Owens and Roman at the end of the Royal Rumble, and not the Royal Rumble being the closing match, because something was going to happen. You don't have your Hell in a Cell blood. You don't have that.
Because normally the Men's Rumble would close out the Rumble pay-per-view. But when they said that Roman KO title match was going to close the show, that's when we were like, okay, yeah, something very important is going to happen after that, during or after that title match. And it's the same thing, because there's no titles online. This is a regular tag match, so I'm, as much as I wanted Drew and Punk to have the main event slot with their Hell in a Cell match, it makes sense. It's like I will begrudgingly accept it. It's like, in my heart, I wanted them to have the main event slot. But if you have to open the show, that's the way you open the show.
Yeah.
No other match should open the show. If they're not going to have the main event, they need that match needs to open the show, kick things off.
And for people who don't know why we're saying that's how you open a show, blah blah blah, it's like you have to open the show with the banger in order to get the crowd really. They're like the opening act. You're going to get the crowd hyped to go throughout the show. If you have, and also too, this is the Kofi Mania situation. You can run into the Kofi Mania situation. You can run into the Rock Hogan situation, to where that match was so good that it took the crowd out of it for the main event. You don't have that match, then follow that,
Right.
and so the crowd's
And plus-
taking out. You have it at the beginning, then the crowd can watch the other matches.
Yeah, you
and
want
then
to have
hyped up.
something that's going to have an ending that's going to get the fans excited to pump for, aka Punk defeating McIntyre and putting this feud to bed. Now, another match that you could consider being the opener, Liv versus Rhea with Dom in the Shark Cage. But if Liv is going over, I don't think you want to start the show off with fan favorite Rhea getting screwed over again to open the show. That's gonna have the fans be a little disappointed. No, if you open with Hell in the Cell and all its awesome brutality, and Punk goes over, then the fans are going to be on a high going into the rest of the show. And then you have the other big hot angle that the fans are going to be pumped for, watching Cody and Roman figure out how to work as a tag team against the Bloodline.
The biggest storyline crap that you just stip that you can never get over. It's just will they coexist? This one I'm intrigued about. Like I can
this one justifies that trope.
Yes.
Because of their history.
Right. It's always the Rock. It's like that Rock. It's the Rock Stone Cold stuff. They coexisted for the sake of we got to get through this, rather than I still don't like you. And that's how Rock and Hulk and Stone Cold always were. Is like we never really liked each other. Like, but we're making it's kind of the same thing with Seth Rollins and Cody for a while.
So we're still only having 5 matches. I thought they would sneak maybe Gunther, Sammy into it, but they made sure to make it clear that match was happening on Raw after the pay-per-view, which is understandable. They want, it's the post pay-per-view Raw, and they want to have big time matches. Like they got 2 big title matches. They got Jay versus Xavier Woods for the IC title, and Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the world title. So you got 2 big title matches that are happening on Raw after the pay-per-view. Smart move. Yeah. So let's go over the matches. So let's start with Hell in the Cell, because that's probably looks like it's going to be opener. This is an easy pick. Punk's going to win this.
Yeah.
I
was agreeing with you.
Right.
We've been talking about this thing for like 7 months. It's Punk.
You have to have the babyface triumph with this when this feud is gone. Put this to bed. The interesting thing is what's going to happen to Drew after this feud is over.
Smackdown. Because
they already teased Punk wanting to go after Gunther, which is probably going to happen during the time. It could happen at Survivor Series, which would be a smart move. That's a great title match to have outside of the War Games stuff. Because he wanted to go after Gunther, but then Drew made it clear that no, we're not finished, motherfucker. And so that's it's like, okay, yep, nope, Hell in a Cell, here we go. Punk is winning this to close out the feud. Both men in their promos have promised blood, and I'm expecting Triple H to allow them to do that, even in this PG-13, TV-14 era that WWE is currently in. They don't usually they don't like to draw the blood as easily as like AEW likes to do it. Sometimes a little too much to their detriment, in my opinion. But for this feud and this match, blood is justified and should happen. These men should bleed because the hate is at the level where they are trying to kill each other. They're trying to end the other person's career, to destroy them. So it's like it justifies it. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I'm expecting this. I have high hopes for this match. I'm trying not to put them too high, but I have high hopes that this is going to be one of those cell matches that is going to be talked about for some in the conversation of like great Hell in the Cell matches.
The next match apparently showing, and again, of the 5 matches, 2 of them are female title matches.
Yeah, both women's singles titles are on the line in the show, which is nice.
But it looks like rumor here is Bayley and Nia will be next. I say Nia.
That makes sense. Over. There's this one came on short notice, and there's not that heat that you can throw. It's like you can throw that right after Hell in the Cell as the cool down match. It's like
again, it's just like Bayley's so good, and she's always.
But they can swerve things where it's like, okay, yeah, Nia Bayley, and have Tiffany cash in for the surprise.
Then we have the Priest Balor.
Oh, hold on. As far as winner,
Oh,
Nia.
sorry.
Nia.
Yeah, Nia win, and then maybe Tiffy cash.
And I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 on a Tiffany cash in.
Yeah.
That's a 50% chance to happen.
I'm more 40, 60, like
40, 60? Okay.
40, 60. I think 40%. I just don't think it's she's probably going to come out because of but
They could tease.
It could be 50-50 based off of how the go home show goes tomorrow night.
Yes, that's key. It's especially how Tiffany responds to the way she got treated by Nia last week.
Right. But yes, I'd say Nia. And again, just I'm such a big fan of Bayley, but it always seems like her title matches since WrestleMania have been like there. Like it just hasn't really been like, oh, dude, I'm so looking forward to this. I'm always looking forward to it because it's Bayley.
Yeah.
And it's just hard for her not to put on a solid match.
Yeah.
And then we have Priest and Balor again, blood feud.
Yep.
That's
Bad
the only thing is
here.
like of Bad Blood. There's all the things are blood feuds except for Nia and Bayley, but they wanted to put a fifth match on here.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
All the other feuds justify being under the Bad Blood below.
Right.
All the other matches.
I think Priest is going to win this, even though I want Balor to, because I don't.
I'm actually thinking Finn's going to win this match.
So you think it's going to be a clean sweep for Judgment Day?
It'd be kind of weird for them to do a split, especially because I don't see, because it'd be bad if they both lose. Then it's like that really hurts Judgment Day. So it's like either there's a split or they're both both Liv and Finn are winning their matches here.
Yeah, I hope it's Finn and Liv. I hope it's 100% Judgment
Day. Because you can give a little more life if Finn wins this first encounter and then have Damian come after him in like a stip match. It's like. Yeah.
I think this is just
my pick is Finn, but I won't be surprised if Damian wins. It could This one, I'm like, I could see either person winning. I'm not 100% either way.
No. But yeah, I'm leaning towards one. My heart wants Finn just because I want Judgment Day to work, and if Judgment Day, if Finn loses, then like no one cares anymore. It's kind of like the Solo thing. It's like, oh, now he's supposed to be something, but you haven't booked him to where we were supposed to care. And then we have Liv versus Rhea. Like we said, we kind of said during our Raw review, Liv is probably going to win this match.
My pick is Liv wins. Thanks to return of Raquel doing a heel turn to help her beat Rhea to counteract Dirty Dom being locked out in the shark cage.
Yep. All right. The rumored main event is Reigns and Rhodes versus the Bloodline.
This is another hard pick here.
I swear to you, they should have Solo pin Reigns with the help of The Rock.
I can see that. I don't think Cody's going to eat another non-title pin here.
You just can't. That's the thing. It's like you can't.
It makes no sense for the storyline for Roman to take the L in this match.
It does. It just makes more sense because he's still just in the bottom. He's still in the bottom. That's just where he's at, and he's still in the basement, and he's trying to dig himself out. The old school babyface storyline.
Right. The other ballsy way is Jacob pins Roman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just would say Solo just to give Solo because he needs Solo to freaking.
Yeah, they need to give him something, especially after he just jobbed to Cody again on SmackDown a few weeks ago.
So, and plus with the Usos, like he's a tribal chief, right? What do you do?
Yeah, that's why I think your call there, Solo pinning Roman, especially if the Rock shows up. Now they could tease it where it looks like Rock is here to help Roman, and then turns on him and helps Solo and company, and reveal what I and many other people have felt all along, that Rock has been pulling the strings, has been the puppet master behind Solo the entire time. Right, is what I'm expecting.
The only thing the reason is the Bloodline needs this. Cody and Roman are fine. Like it doesn't. I don't want Cody to take the pin. That's why I'm saying Roman is the one that needs to take the pin because he's in the basement, and this is just going to give him that other setback that he needs to go get Jimmy. Which, by the way, he appeared at a house.
Yeah, and plus, what's going to happen if the Gorillas try to pull shenanigans on the outside of the ring during this match? What are Randy and KO going to do?
I don't know.
Especially KO, because because KO is obviously not happy with Cody deciding to work with Roman in this match. I think we'll because and I like I said, I think as like I mentioned it while I was sending a question during the Ring Generals this past weekend, Roka and company, that I think the Kevin Owens heel turn is a red herring. I don't think he's gonna. Oh yeah, that's why they're doing it. It's like it looks like KO's going to, and you would expect KO to turn because of his history for something like this. That's why it'll make it more shocking when the real turn will be Randy.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. And did you see where Jimmy Uso was at a house show? Like he actually came out and stuff.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yep. Apparently, it might have been old, but I thought the theme was new. And yeah, he was at a house show. He came out. I guess I don't know if he wrestled or anything, but he came out with the Titantron and everything like that. So people are like, "Why is Jimmy coming out to a house show?" That was a couple weeks ago. So maybe it might have been just old. But it might have been old. You know how Twitter is. Sometimes it's not true. But
well, it makes sense. It's usually a way to get people's feet wet before they go back on TV. Like I didn't get to mention earlier, but Nikita Lyons is back in the ring. She did a match at an NXT house show last week. So she's going to be back on TV real soon.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's everyone. The fact that his pop is going to be so loud when Jimmy comes back.
Oh yeah, him and Heyman. Heyman are going to get mega pop.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it makes more sense for Roman to take the pin, is because now his back is really against the wall. Cody's never been his ally. He needs his people back.
Yeah.
So
because it's like he's got to understand that he cannot defeat Solo and the Bloodline by himself.
No. So he's a chief without a tribe, and when you're a chief without a tribe, numbers game, you can't. It's like I'm getting beat at the game that I created. That's kind of like the whole promo you could do is like I'm getting beat by my own strategy. I'm getting
Yeah, I know. I saw some people saying, well, maybe they're gonna do Roman gets Cody, Randy, and KO. It's like Randy and KO are not gonna want to work with Roman against the Bloodline. It's like like not even Cody could convince them to do that. It's
right. Because then, I mean, we've been leading to this Survivor Series war game with Roman, Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy.
And people, ever since this storyline started, people expected one of the men's war games match to be Bloodline Civil War, New Bloodline versus OG Bloodline, which could still happen. It's like it just depends on how it's where things go. So.
Sometimes the most predictable
back that could easily set up Rock challenging Cody for the title at Crown Jewel, which would make sense for a Saudi match.
Right. And Saudi's going to pay the bucks for the Rock. But I think he's done doing his A24 filming, so I think he's in that break.
Too. Right. And he's got some time. It would make sense. Him showing up at Survivor Series would be tough because he's got the Red One movie coming out in November.
Right. So he's going to be he's got to
he's got to do press for that. So, it makes sense for him to come back now for a little bit, especially for like a Crown Jewel thing. So, yeah. Bloodline's going to win this tag match. They have to.
Yeah, and because Talatonga, or whatever they're going to call him, is going to NXT apparently. So, at least that's what the rumors are. But that's what I'm saying. That's why.
Hikuleo?
Yeah, Hikuleo. That's why I said Talatonga. They still don't know what the heck they're going to call him. But yeah. Anyway, just Talatonga. Really? What are we going to call him? I don't know. He's tall. But that's But to kind of go back to it, people are like, well, they got to shake it up because it's too predictable. Sometimes the predictable way to go is the right way to go.
It's just all about the execution.
Yes, it's all about the execution and how you do it. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's easier. I think the bloodline needs to win. you're gonna still get the Roman. You're still
Especially
gonna
if
get
you
that
wanna do
aura of
Orton.
Roman and Jacob Fatu have finally going at it and having that holy shit. If the crowd's gonna chant holy shit, we're probably gonna sit there and say, hey, here's a holy shit chant. Like here's what, and we're gonna get the goose. The chills. Like when those two finally get in the ring with each other.
Yep.
And just to see those two just go at it, and just a preview of just how good Jacob Fatu is. Plus
people, the fans are
going
to. Sorry, I didn't mean to repeat.
You're good. But Jacob, Solo going over Roman, the Bloodline winning makes so much sense by moving forward, and Roman really doing the old baby face, digging themselves out of a hole. And because that's it's a classic baby face that you can never go wrong with, is them the chase and the chase and the chase, and we just can't help it as audiences. We're a sucker to the chase.
Right.
So again, what you were saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, like when Roman and Jacob are going to be in the ring at the same time, the fans are going to go batshit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is.
Because that's going to be epic.
Yeah, it's going to be epic.
Yeah, that's our...
Yeah. I'll say at the end of the show, but I'll say it now. Justin and I will be doing a live reaction, so come and join us on Saturday, which is going to be 6 Eastern.
Yep.
They're going early. And that's because of the UFC. Now, is it going to be 3 hours, or still going to be the... With
5 matches, I'm expecting to be about 3 hours.
Okay. That's what I was expecting too. All right. But yeah, join us back on here on Saturday. We'd love for y'all to hang out. We will put in the thing of just, you might be ahead of us. Please don't spoil. You can say holy crap and all that stuff. You can do that.
Yeah, we're going to double check and make sure that our feeds are as close to each other as possible. If there's any kind of delay, then we're going to also have to be careful not to spoil each other while we're watching.
Right. It's just join us, watch the chaos between me and Justin.
Just wait. Don't say anything about who won until we react and say it to who won to avoid spoilers, because it's like things are not 100% sync depending on where you are on the planet. So
right. Yes, that is true. All right. Well, let's move on to a really it's the typical Dynamite of really great wrestling and overbooking, but that's Dynamite. Hey, but guess what? We get it for 3 more years.
All right, here's a recap what happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite, celebrating their 5-year anniversary. Excalibur and Tony Schiavone tonight. We opened with the big international title match. Will Ospreay against Ricochet. Before the match, Don Callis wanted to talk to Will Ospreay about what happened last week, but I told him he didn't have time. He had to do the match. And so he and Kyle Fletcher left conveniently, and Tenosuke Takeshita had his eyes on Ospreay. Good stuff from both these guys as you expect. At first, there was a double pin. Fans didn't like that, so Tony kind of announced that the match would continue into an overtime. They wrestled some more, but then Takeshita came out and attacked Ospreay for causing a disqualification. He laid out both Ospreay and Ricochet and held the international title up over his head. I smell a 3-way at the pay-per-view. Mercedes Moné cut a promo, and then MVP came up and gave her his business card saying that he'd be interested in doing business with Mercedes. The Guns cut a promo hyping Juice Robinson, taking on him and Paige later in the show, but Hangman snuck up and attacked them with a chair and laid them both out. Promo time from Chris Jericho and the Learning Tree. Taking credit for, what he's just done for AEW. And he said after he beat Mark Briscoe this week, he was inspired to realize to try to go after another world championship and challenged Briscoe for Ring of Honor title at WrestleDream. Mark Briscoe and the rest of the conglomeration came out to respond. He and Jericho went back and forth. Jericho went really low, bringing up his brother Jay to attack him, which really got boos and heat from the fans. Briscoe laid Jericho out and told him that he accepted his challenge for the pay-per-view. Hangman Page took on Juice Robinson. With the referee distracted, Page hit a low blow on Juice Robinson and then hit the buckshot lever to pick up the victory. He went and tried to choke out Juice after match, but Jay White returned finally from injury and attacked Hangman Page. since he was the one who, kayfabe-wise, put him on the shelf. Speared him through a table out in the arena. So we'll probably get a match between them maybe at the pay-per-view. Jack Perry was being interviewed when Kazuchika Shibata came up and challenged him to a TNT title match at the pay-per-view. Jack said he'd think about it, but then jumped and attacked him not long afterwards, pretty seemingly accepting. Danielson cut a promo saying that all he could think about is fuck Jon Moxley. And vowed to beat Okada to break their one-on-one tie from their previous matches. Then we had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Serena Deeb. They were in Pittsburgh, her hometown. So, of course, she'd be there. She picked up the victory with the lockjaw. Serena Deeb was pissed and attacked her after the match, but Queen Aminata came out to make the save. Mariah May was watching all this at ringside. Hook swore bloody revenge on the people who attacked his dad. Chris Gates put on a promo promising that he was going to eventually cash in his title shot and win the world championship. Mariah May was dissing Willow Nightingale in the background. Willow came up and they got into a fight. Private Party won in a squash over the Iron Savages and then challenged the Young Bucks for a tag team title match. The Young Bucks came out to respond saying that they were not going to give them a title shot tonight. And then Jack Perry came out to assist with the Elite Beatdown. But Shibata made the save. Christopher Daniels came out and set up a 6-man tag between them for Rampage. MVP was about to make an announcement when Prince Don interrupt, threatening him about all this stuff he said to him last week. MVP then introduced the new head of his complete department, none other than Shelton Benjamin, to a big pop. So the new Hurt Syndicate continues to form. Bobby Lashley can't be far behind. Then we had our main event, title versus title, Bryan Danielson versus Okada. Only the Continental title was on the line for the first 20 minutes. After that, it would be for the world title. Okada was able to survive the first 20 minutes. But then finish came when Danielson his own Raker Banker for a near fall and started firing goals. But Claudio and Pac came out, and not long after that, Danielson was able to hit a backslide out of nowhere to pin Okada to pick up the victory and retain the title. Post match, Okada hit the Rainmaker on Danielson and left him to be attacked by the Blackpool Combat Club. Marina Shafir and Moxley came down as Claudio and Pac held Danielson down. Moxley cut a promo saying that this isn't about him. This is about what he needs to do for AEW. It's not personal. Will Yuta came out with a hammer to make the save. He had a stare down with Moxley, who dared him to hit him with a hammer. They got into a brawl with Claudio and Pac. Yuta got on the mic saying he's tired of Pac and Yuta treating him like a kid. He's a man who can make his own decisions. And he and Bryan Danielson challenged them to a match next week, in a tag match on next week's episode Dynamite to close out the show. So that's all I have.
Why do they overbook stuff?
I don't know. This is where Tony just like Tony.
I mean that Ospreay Ricochet match is like Tony said no, we're gonna get more time just for Takeshita.
Okay, we're gonna and then Takeshita. It's like no, it's like the better way you book that is to have him run in and cause a DQ finish where there's no clear winner.
Right.
Why do the double pin and then have Takeshita do the run and attack both guys? That's overbooking to a T. It's like, come on, man. That really bugged me.
Yeah.
Match was great. Finish was not executed well. But and Tony confirmed it. I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, well, I think we're getting a 3-way between these guys for the title at the pay-per-view, and that's what's happening.
Right.
So,
the match was great.
Yes, other than that, the match was great. Sean Ross Sapp is reporting that Takeshita is gonna get a significant push. I hope so because it's long. It's like this man deserves it. Mm-hmm. It's like it looked like they were doing that last year, like when he beat Kenny Omega clean. It's like, but it's like then he's kind of been like. Then he went back to Japan for a while, and so it's like, just give him the international title, man. Ospreay's ready to move on into the world title picture. It's like I mean, that's where people want and expect him to be. So I have no problem with Takeshita winning the title. Give him belt the man and give him a good push, please.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I actually like the match that we got out of Britt Baker for once.
That's the best match that she's done since she came back.
Do you think it has to do with Serena or just Britt actually giving a shit?
That's what I was wondering.
Because we know she's been rumored to.
Serena Deeb is a very good worker. It's like she doesn't have the charisma, unfortunately, which is why it's like attempts to push her really haven't worked, but she's still really good in the ring. So I mean, it wasn't a great match, but it was definitely it was a decent, it was a solid TV match. Yes. I don't know what the point of Mariah May being out there at ringside was, because they've been teasing Willow coming after for the title, and I think that's probably going to be made official probably for Wrestle Dream, especially after what happened backstage. So that didn't make any sense here. It's like, and also, we're about to go into the pay-per-view, and Mercedes Moné has no fucking opponent for her TBS title. She's literally just like they're doing nothing. Camille's doing nothing. It's starting to piss me off.
Why do you only have one female match, especially when that has no implications for
right?
people?
It's like why? It's like I don't understand why it's like it's so hard for Tony to have more than one women's match on Dynamite.
Yeah, she couldn't do it. The Shelton Benjamin, yay! That pop was awesome. That's the biggest pop Shelton Benjamin's had in like a decade.
That was quite. Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, oh damn, that's quite the pop Shelton guy.
Yeah, I was like, damn, all right. Obviously, and then Bobby has been confirmed by multiple sources that I've seen of signing.
Yeah, I mean, even if I hadn't seen that, as soon as I saw Shelton, I was like, okay, yep, Bobby Lashley is on his way too.
Yep, and there's our feud for Swerve, which I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. And then obviously Mercedes in the Hurt Syndicate. That'd be kind of cool.
That did have my attention. MVP trying to recruit her. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So Darby has an open challenge at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds it's going to be Lashley?
Yeah, probably. Dude, Hangman is on a tear, dude.
I'm loving this batshit crazy Hangman.
And Jay White, him coming back to that, yeah, it's just, yes, give me Hangman and Jay White. That's all.
He's completely unhinged. I love it. And also, did you hear that pop for Jay White?
Yeah. That's the best pop he's had since he debuted. So,
I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, shout out to the crowd. I mean, you were awesome. Okay. Shelton, was there anything else before we get on the main event?
Didn't really give. Sorry, I love Mark Briscoe, but I'm like.
It's a learning tree, dude. I don't care. Hooks. That was a promo Hook hadn't done ever.
It was reported early in the day that Taz was attacked, and my reaction was like, what the fuck? And then my friend was like, I hope that's a kayfabe storyline thing, because otherwise, what the fuck happened? And then as soon as they had Hook respond to what happened to his dad, that's when I was like, okay, it's a storyline.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's a kayfabe story.
There was a lot of people online saying when he got attacked and was like, Taz, is it NXT? Because
Yeah, I know there was a lot of jokes. Where like, was he in the NXT parking lot? That place is not safe.
This place is not safe. We don't go to the NXT parking lot. What are you crazy? Okay. But yeah, the main event. Private Party versus Iron Savage. Okay.
So, but yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's like I just don't give a fuck about learning Tree Chris Jericho, and
no.
I'm sure him and Mark Briscoe will have a fine match at the pay-per-view. It'll probably be decent, but I just don't care. And that shows me how much I don't give a crap about Chris Jericho's current character. We're not even a match against Mark Briscoe, who I love. It has me excited.
Plus,
that says all you need to know.
Of all the times to bring.
And why isn't ROH title being defended on an AEW pay-per-view? I'm sorry. It's like
I don't know. These are things that
they book that before they book your freaking TBS champion Mercedes Moné into a title match.
I don't know, dude.
And Mariah May doesn't have a title match yet either. Official. It's probably going to be Willow because
it's going to be Willow. That's the perfect opponent for her. But wow, I don't know. And then Private Party, Iron Savages, Young Bucks, whatever.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. That was the other thing I had a problem with. Okay. It's cool that you are trying to do something with Private Party, but it feels like it's really late because you have treated them like jobbers for a real long time, and you got to really, if you want the fans to give a fuck about them, they need to be winning matches. They can't be treated like jobbers. Like they were treated like afterthought jobbers, and then like the shoot comment that wasn't supposed to be a shoot comment, but really was Moxley saying like, you guys are the same place you were 5 years ago. It's like, yeah, they are. They're right. It's like they're a classic example of Tony dropping the ball on somebody. Those guys could have been something, but like the Acclaim, they dropped the ball with them when they were hot.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want me to care about, even consider the possibility that the Private Party could actually beat the Bucks for times, they need to be. You need to treat them like they're contenders and have them win matches. Like squash match, okay, that's fine. But otherwise, they have not. They don't look like a title contender the way that they've been booked for quite some time. I'm sorry. I appreciate you trying to do something, but you got to do it right, Tony. Come on.
I am loving this feud between whatever the Blackpool Combat Club is.
This is the only reason I'm excited for Wrestle Dream is Moxley Danielson. Mm-hmm. This storyline is.
I'll let you go ahead and take
away. This storyline has my attention. This storyline has my attention because of the obvious speculation that Shane McMahon is behind what Moxley and company are doing.
Yep. Yeah. I like that. And of course, dude, Danielson Okada. There's just another level of this sports entertainment that we love so much. I've been following it for over 20 years. And then when you see something like this, you realize why, like, this is why Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo are still being talked about. And there's been millions of painters and artists.
Right.
When you have those special ones that come along and you can have them fight in a phone booth and it'll still be better than 75% of matches we see.
Yep.
And it's just nuts how good they are.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. And then they got the closing segment with Wheeler Yuta coming out, and he cut a really cool promo. And they're really boosting Wheeler.
I thought he was going to turn on Danielson.
I think he still might. He still might.
I thought he might, but not yet. Not yet. That's still on the table because you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Anything else before we move on to?
I think that's about it. This I did like them calling back to like memorable moments in Dynamite's history.
Yeah.
I thought they should have done a little bit more of that. My other favorite bit of the night was when Tony brought up Nigel saying thank you when he tapped out to Danielson last week. He goes, "No, I wasn't thanking Danielson. I was thanking Tony Khan."
Right.
Like, okay, whatever, Nigel.
Right.
I like that where he's like, "No, I was thanking Tony Khan. I wasn't. Why would I thank Bryan Danielson?" I like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Tony Khan.
Nigel's great.
Nigel's great. That's why I was happy. I was like, okay, well, if we don't have Taz, we easily have Nigel tonight.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad Dynamite.
No.
Overall, I thought it was a good Dynamite. But for a 5th anniversary celebration show. Should have been better.
Should have been better. Should have been better. That's the thing. You still gave us great. That's the thing. They just really they deliver on wrestling matches.
Yes.
They're still figuring out the whole overbooking's pure storyline.
The opening match and the main event were great. Everything in the middle was up and down.
Yeah. Whereas like you look at a 3-hour Raw and we're like, oh, this was really good, and then this was really good, and this was really good. Yeah, this little bitty part I really didn't care for, but this is really good, and this is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But one's been doing it since the dawn of time. One is 5 years old. That's my excuse that I will give to them, and they're still figuring it out.
Okay.
So, but I'm glad that we have 2 different promotions.
Yes.
Because it's not like this promotion is giving out terrible content.
Right.
We just know it could be better.
Right.
Yeah. So just glass half full. It sounds like, oh, you're just crapping on AEW. I was like, no, we see there's good parts. We're giving it the props that it is. They are putting on arguably better matches than Raw and SmackDown and WWE, but you got to make us care. We're not trying to tune in for an indie show every week. That's not what wrestling television is. It's a little bit of both. So let's move on. Speaking of stories and great matches, let's move on to NXT.
Yeah.
Suck it, Julia.
All right, here's what happened on this week's episode of NXT, their debut episode on the CW. Shawn Michaels and Triple H opened the show to kick things off to hype up the crowd, and they got right into it with the first big title match. NXT Women's Championship, Roxanne Perez defending against Julia. Lots of back and forth between both ladies. The finish came when Roxanne went to grab the new NXT Women's Championship belt. Looked like she was trying to use it, distracting the ref. This allowed a mystery person to come out to attack Julia on the outside, knocking her silly with DDT, and toss her back in the ring to let Roxanne hit Pop Rocks on her, pick up the victory. The mystery person revealed themselves to be none other than Cora Jade. They showed Axiom Nathan Frazier playing WWE 2K to get ready for A-Town Down Under next week. Then we had Wesley taking on Zachary Wentz in the Chicago street fight. Crazy action and bumps from both men. But Wesley picked up the victory with a chain-enhanced Meteora, knocking Wesley through a chair and knocked him out silly. Newly turned heel Miz hosted Miz TV with Obafemi Tony D'Angelo ahead of their North American Championship match on next week's show. Tony said he was ready for him this time, but Obafemi said he didn't believe him, and they got into it and had a stare down. Cora Jade was interviewed back saying that she was annoyed that she had been forgotten about with all the hype of Julia and Stephanie McCurry coming. Roxanne came up and asked why she helped. She said that she's liking the person that Roxanne has become, and Roxanne, maybe a common enemy, can help bring them back together again. Hint. Then we had Jada Parker and Lola Vice taking on Fatal Influence in the form of JC Jane and Fallon Henley, with Nyx at ringside. Storyline of this match was the communication problems and Jada Parker and Lola Vice not getting on the same page. Eventually, Jada Parker walked out on Lola Vice and that allowed Fatal Influence to double team her and pick up the victory. After the match, she cut a promo saying that they were coming after Kalani Jordan and the Women's North American Championship. Kalani said that she had a backup plan in case they tried to pull something, and that backup was the Women's Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who came out and helped her clean house on Fatal Influence. A video on Javon Evans was aired, hyping up his match against Randy Orton next week. A promo showing a woman walking down a road with a sign saying NXT and the numbers 10 and 27, indicating someone's going to be debuting at Halloween Havoc. And it looks like it is indeed Delta. Then we got the main event NXT Championship match. Trick Williams taking on Ethan Page with CM Punk as a special guest referee. Punk made sure to keep things clean. At one point, Page even taunted him by hitting a GTS on Trick for a near fall. Eventually, Trick was able to finally hit the trick shot and pick up the victory and become a 2-time NXT champion. He celebrated with the fans and confetti, while CM Punk laid out Ethan Page with a GTS, close out the show just in time before the 10 o'clock hour on the East Coast. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of NXT's debut on the CW.
Dude, Julie and Roxanne are they're just I don't know. It's just
Okay. Hold on. I wanted you to go first because I've been looking at a lot of people's reactions to the CW debut episode, and what surprised me is how mixed they are. Where some people thought it was a good show, and other people didn't think it was a good show.
I enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, the Roxanne stuff, I think some people wanted that to be didn't have Cora come out or anything like that, but I was like, we've been saying that for a while. Like, Cora's going to come out. Like, it's just, I've been saying that. I thought the wrestling match itself, some people are not a fan of the real big grappling ground stuff. If you do it right, it can be really good. There was a few steps here and there, but
yeah, that's what I saw. Some people were like, there was a little sloppy. I was like, okay, yeah, but it didn't. I didn't think it deterred from the match, and plus, this is the first time they're wrestling each other.
Right?
Maybe they're members. I don't know. You know, it is certainly possible. I mean, this was hyped up. This match was hyped up, and so it's like, I know some people were disappointed because they expected it to be better. And some people were expecting Julia to win the title, and it's like, okay, wait, you had her lose? Like, that doesn't help. Look, what did I say? What did I say recently? That there was only 2 outcomes for this match that made any kind of booking sense. Either you have Julie win the title now, or Roxanne keeps the title via shenanigans. And what had happened? She kept the title by shenanigans.
Right.
And
Cora.
And you pointed out that maybe if Cora is ready, she would be the shenanigans, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. And then when she got it, I was like, it's Cora. I was right. Yay. And then she took her hood off, and I was like, okay, for one thing, get your drawstring correct, because that was just awkward to me.
Yes.
But the fact that she had the purple in her hair, I was like, oh, and then Roxanne had purple in her hair. There you go. And I did like how the announcers were like, didn't they not like each other? I guess they're okay, you know. And then they did have that. But
that's true because the last time those two had any serious interaction was when Cora went heel and turned on Roxanne when they were the tag champions. Then they didn't. Do you remember why they never had a proper blow off to that? Was Roxanne out for a little bit at that time, or it's like one of them I think got injured for a little bit, and then it kind of like that kind of like got dropped by the wayside.
Well, I think they were really trying to go with Cora, and then Roxanne was going to be on the main roster, so they just kind of had her just go to the wayside, getting her ready for the main roster, did the Royal Rumble, and then Cora got hurt, and then they pivoted to Roxanne. I think I don't know exactly the timeline.
Well, I'm talking about back like 2 years ago when she turned on Roxanne.
I don't know that.
Because they never had a proper blow off to that.
No, that's why I kept saying like this. Now they team up, then blah blah could happen, and then they go and they have their little blood feud, and then someone else.
I've said how much I've become a fan of Julia, and would I have wanted Julia to win this match? I would have been perfectly fine with Julia winning this match. But if you really think about it, that would be a little bit too much for her. It's like, yes, it would cause a splash. Yes, you would want to have the opener be something, but what they did here was give you just a taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
Because you can only have them do so much on TV with hard commercials, and and now that they're on the CW, there's two things that you're not going to see anymore. There's no picture-in-picture during commercial breaks on a broadcast network CW. They don't do picture-in-picture like USA can, and there's no overrun.
No,
they have it's like, and I think they need to work on their timing because they almost got cut off. I was like when I was looking at the time, I'm like, Trick better be winning this match here soon because there's only about like they got to be off the air in the next like 3 minutes because it's almost 10 o'clock because the majority of CW affiliates have local news at 10 o'clock. So they cannot do overrun on CW. Nope. It's like it's like Smackdown on Fox. It's like when it comes, Fox affiliates also have like news at 10 on East Coast time and a lot of affiliates. So it's like that's why like SmackDown never had didn't have overruns when I was on Fox because it's like once it was about 10 o'clock, it's like okay, nope. It's like nope, we gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
So it's like I was thinking about this because I was like, I really liked the match. You could tell the crowd was into it. That Julia's entrance, it's like, dude, it's like the aura, man. It's like, it's like, oh my god. When she gets to the main roster, man, it's like, I mean, like it's like her whole presentation is like, it screams that she's a star. Now there was a little sloppy moments, but that's fine because Julia's still learning how to do
the WWE style.
The WWE style, and that's going to take time. That's why she's in NXT. That's why she didn't go to the main roster.
No, that's why Stephanie Vaquer is in NXT.
As talented as Stephanie Vaquer is, that's why Stephanie Vaquer is coming in via NXT and not going right to the main roster.
No,
because it's like it's like they need to understand how WWE does their thing and be able to acclimate that. So I'm fine with that. Now, I'm also fine with Roxanne not losing the title just yet because this finish sets up so many storyline possibilities. It's not even funny. So number one, Roxanne's still a champion, but she didn't win it clean. She won with outside help. That at first I was thinking, did she have Cora in because she was like wanted to ensure she win the match because she was scared of Julia that she was going to lose. It's like no, it looks like because the first thing she walks towards you was like, what's up? Why did you help me?
Yeah.
So she was not expecting that to happen.
Nope.
And Cora's explanation is great, where it's like, I like the person you have become. It's like it's because they used to have they both were that happy-go-lucky kind of bayface, and it's like Cora turned heel and had that hard edge, and Roxanne's had that similar journey with her heel turn where she's gotten that hard edge, and so because of their history, even though last time things were not ended great between them, Cora being like, you know what, you finally seen the light. It's like I dig it. So out of respect for, our past relationship, I decided to do you a favor tonight to help you out. Yeah. And then as soon as Roxanne is like, who knows, maybe a common enemy can help bring, I was like, tag match.
Yeah. Julia and Stephanie
versus Roxanne and Cora. Book it.
Yep.
Whether that's going to happen on NXT proper or they're going to do that. That's the thing. Do you do that for Halloween Havoc? Do the tag match? Or do the tag match in the build-up to Halloween Havoc? And then do you have a 3-way or 4-way between these 4 women? It's like, this is where it's like, there's a lot of different permutations this could go through, but I guarantee you what's going to happen is we're going to have a mind-blowingly good tag match with Cora and Roxanne versus Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. And plus, are they going to be able to work together? Well, cliche, as we pointed out before, we were talking about Cody Roman, will also apply appropriately for Julia and Stephanie Vaquer because of their history, which will be brought up because during the match, Vic Joseph mentioned about all the titles that Julia won over Ken. She was in Japan Strong Women's Champion, Stardom Women's Champion. So WWE is not going to be afraid to mention, is already not afraid to mention, like, the accolades that Julia earned back in Japan. And yes, she was Strong Women's Champion. And for as we mentioned before, for the people who don't know that much about these two have history because Stephanie Vancouver was the one who beat Julia to take the New Japan Strong Women's Championship off of her in the first place. Yeah. And then Stephanie had it for a while, and then she lost it to Mercedes at Forbidden Door. So that's why Julia had that look on her face when Stephanie Vancouver showed up last week. That was Julia's way of hinting about the history between the two of them. Because I've seen the footage. Julia was not happy she lost that. She lost that match. She was pissed. So it's like, even though they're both baby faces, it's like their history is going to make it like, will they be able to work together against Cora and Roxanne? Because number one, Cora and Roxanne, despite their issues, go back a long ways. And two, they were tag team champions, so they were already an effective tag team. So that puts a team up between Julia and Stephanie Vancouver at a severe disadvantage against Cora and Roxanne. So that adds even more intrigue to that kind of a match. So that has me excited about the possibilities, and also the fact that Cora Jade is back. It's like it's great that she's finally back. Then that adds another big name to the top of the card, and more intrigue, because now the other question is, if they do join forces as heels, who's going to turn on who first? My bet would be, because of what happened last time, Roxanne, because of her heel persona and her paranoia, she will turn on Cora first because she's expecting Cora to eventually stab her in the back like last time. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's the old, I was expecting you to stab me in the back eventually. I just decided to beat you to the punch.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And as I kept saying, this is the female Gargano Ciampa.
Right. And then you get what you have been hoping for, Roxanne versus Cora, final feud before Roxanne goes to the main roster, because Cora's going to be she's going there first, but Cora's going to be staying because all the time she missed between last year and this year, she's got a lot of time to make up for in NXT before they're going to have her go on the main roster. Yep. So you can perfectly set up that, and that lead to probably the best way to do it would probably be loser leaves NXT match between Roxanne and Cora.
That'd probably be good. Industry, like I said,
that's after Roxanne loses the title, because it's like if Roxanne turns on her first as payback, what would Cora do? Cost her the NXT championship against either Stewie or Stephanie or Julia.
Yep.
So that way, then you get the belt on one of either Julia or Stephanie, and then have them fight it out. Then have Cora and Roxanne settle their history, and then you can have Cora be coming after the NXT Women's Championship proper after that. So it's like, oh my, this is what has me. This is why I'm excited. And now we finally got the official confirmation. It's, even though it's like the word is that they signed Delta and she's coming. Well, it's like that. As soon as I saw that promo, I was thinking like, who is this for? And then when I saw, I was like, is this Delta? And then I looked up some pictures of her line and the hair and the outfit. I was like, yep, it's her.
That's her. And that's the only one of the new signings of Julia, Stephanie, and Delta. Like, we only hear hype. I haven't seen any of her stuff, whereas Julia and Stephanie have been like dominating.
Yeah, even though it's easier to find their stuff versus Delta, because the promotion that she has been in over in Australia, it's an indie promotion. It's not like a gigantic promotion. It's known, but it's not like massive. It's not like
Rhea's been the big proponent.
It's not like TNA level kind of promotion in Australia.
Yeah, Rhea's been the big proponent of her. I mean, for obvious reasons.
Right, and also the other confirmation I got was Bronson Reed retweeted the Twitter post of the promo with the Australian flag. So it's like he knows. Yeah. He knows that's Delta, and he's giving a shout out to his fellow Aussie coming over to WWE. Yeah. He's like
a couple of things before I move on to my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, sorry, just want to wrap up about Julia before we get to the other matches, which I know you're going to be excited to talk about the street fight. In my opinion, exceeded Julia and Roxanne's match of the night.
No, it is a match of the night.
Yeah, I thought that was match of the night too. So okay, cool. I figured you would say that. I was going to agree with you. So yes, there's people had mixed feelings about this, and some of this, but this is just this match was an appetizer to the main course that is coming, because Stephanie Vecchura's made her intentions known. It's like it's like there's all kinds of possibilities where it's going. And that's what makes it exciting. Was like there's a lot of different ways this could go right now with the four of them, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen next, because also Julia's made it clear. If you checked Julia's Twitter, she was like, who the F are you, Cora Jade?
Right.
She's already sent warnings to both Cora and Roxanne. I'm coming for you. So Julia's not happy about being screwed. Her intention is clear that she's coming for both of them. So that's where you can have it's like her and Stephanie Vicker reluctantly have to join forces against Cora and Roxanne. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a pop. It's like that's so I can't. It's like it'd be interesting to see when Stephanie's actually going to be in the flesh, because what we've seen she is via video so far. So so I'm okay with how that turned out because of where we're going, and that's what's exciting. And man, now we got confirmation that Delta's coming too. NXT Women's Division is just. This is why it's like, even though it's going to be sad to see Roxanne leave NXT, but
it's not sad.
Well,
I know what you're saying.
In a sad way, but
because the world's about to learn.
Number one, she deserves. She's ready for the main roster. She's more than ready for the main roster. And number two, the women's division is so fucking stacked. Roxanne leaving doesn't hurt it, and that's what's awesome. Because with Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and Delta, and Sol Ruka, and everybody, Kalani, and everybody else on here, the women's division on NXT is going to keep cooking after Roxanne goes to the main roster and goes and kicks ass.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I'll say about this match, though, is the ground stuff. I know that's not for everyone, but it was really good to me. I know the kickouts weren't on par, and I understand that. Like it just seemed a little shaky, but that's very tough to do as far as being that technical. Because I would show you Saraya versus Tony.
Yes.
And then you watch this, and what Saraya and Tony tried to do, this actually succeeded, even though it was a little, it wasn't crisp, as they would say, but you could tell the chemistry was already there, which is crazy for Julia. This is the first time Julia's and Roxanne have even gone with each other. That's why I was impressed.
Yes.
So if you were expecting just, because of the hype, and I get that, but if you're expecting this to be like the most banger match ever, for the first time they've ever done.
No, they're going to save that for the PLE, for the Let Loose and have a banger. It's like they're under time constraints with commercials for a TV match, where it's like, so you're not going to you can't see the whole match if you're watching on TV. Like the fans watching their live are going to see everything, but it's like the people watching at home, they're missing a good chunk of the match because of the commercial break.
Yep.
So this is the setup for them to have a banger at the PLE later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, best match of the night.
Yes.
My Rascals, man. My Rascals can freaking go.
They went all out with this match. That table bump was freaking scary. I was literally like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, because I was like, I saw where they were going, and then okay. That was kind of weird though. That like when
This
they
made me
came back
glad
from
I
commercial.
didn't accidentally spoil anything for you because I was like afterwards I was like, oh man, I can only imagine how Josh is gonna react. I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to hear what Josh thinks of Julia Roxanne and also this match because dear God.
I mean, and the finish was awesome.
Yes.
I did find it kind of odd though of them doing plywood randomly with two chairs on the side of the ring. That was odd. It just from that I just never haven't seen that before. It just felt kind of weird. Obviously, that spot was great. The garbage with Wesley in the garbage can. That was a really good spot.
Yes.
I mean, just you could just tell like the chemistry is just so easy for them. It just comes natural, just how good they are. The finish with him doing the chains, like that was perfect. Yeah, just Zach overshooting the table and still going. That's pure adrenaline.
I was like, oh my God, it's a miracle he did not get hurt because dear God, that looked nasty.
How they did the with him doing the shopping cart with the stairs, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because I think that is I don't know why. It's just always cheesy to me when you have a street fight and why is there always one person that brings out a shopping cart with a kendo stick of like it has to be a kendo stick. I don't know.
Well, it's a nod to Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, okay. Okay, because like Bad Bunny did it, and I've seen it a couple times. Like, there's always that one person that comes.
Becky Lynch did it when she had her street fight against Tiffany last year.
So I guess one person has to bring out the shopping cart. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool shot. I get it. It's just, I guess, just because every street fight there's one person that does it, I'm just like,
yeah,
whatever. Again, that's just me just being myself.
Yeah, this was an awesome blow off to that. Big win for Wesley. I think I'm hoping heel Wesley versus Trick for the title feud. I'd say bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then the Oba Tony stuff that they've sold me. Like, and if Tony doesn't,
believe Tony's going to win next week. I believe it could happen.
Yes, I'm saying, like with the Rock. Well, obviously he got you.
Because the Rock, with the whole Rocky setup, I'm feeling it. You know, it's like, but especially after that promo exchange where it's like, almost like you don't believe you could beat me. It's like you believe you don't. It's like you're saying it, but you don't believe it. It's like I'm inevitable. You can't beat me. I already beat you. Yeah. It's like so it. And plus, that's probably going to be the main event, and you're not going to want to send the fans this. You want to have another big triumphant moment for the second non-PC episode on the CW, because they're probably going to have Javon Randy be like the 9 o'clock, top of the hour match,
right?
Because right now there's only 4 matches scheduled for next week's show. You got Javon versus Randy. You've got Fatal Influence versus Kalani, Bianca, and Jade. The NXT title match and the North American title match.
Yeah. But just to kind of go with the Oba stuff, and I've obviously, like, when I finally started watching NXT after I stopped my 7th boycott. With Oba, I was really starting to pay attention to how they're really building him. And just to quote Dusty Rhodes, I don't know what it is, but you have it. And that's just how I feel when I look at Oba. Like, I'm like, put him and Gunther together. Just have them go right now. I don't care.
Yeah, I was reminded about how over he is because like with LA Knight and Jay, when they're speaking, the fans will insert their catchphrase. Mm-hmm. Where, like for LA Knight, it's yeah. For Jay, it's yeet. While Oba was speaking, every time he finished a sentence, you heard the crowd go, ooh.
Right. Yeah. Like he's over. And this little Rocky thing is really making Tony like they're killing it with getting Tony there, because this was always the thing of just like he's just kind of chewing the scenery, playing a part. This was the first time I was like, they're like, just to quote Dallas, It's like, there you are. Like, there's the Tony.
Did you? I noticed that. I thought it was a little weird that the Chicago crowd was wanting Tony, but then at other times they started cheering him. So I was like kind of like confused. Like, why are you giving him a what chant? And then he mentions, then you give him the cheap pop when he mentions he's from Chicago.
Yeah.
Or that, like he's like, I'm gonna beat you, Obi, and then they cheered. I'm like, but then they're wetting him in between. That was weird. I was like, Chicago, what are you doing?
Right. Real quick, I know we're literally almost at 2:30, so let's wrap this up real quick. The Fatal Influence stuff, that was fine. It was whatever.
That match was that match was fine. That was the weakest match of the show, but it was more because it was a storyline match. It was about Jada and Lola not being able to get on the same page, and that cost them the match.
Yeah, and then the Kalani Jordan
that's
Power Buff Girls coming out. And then okay, the title match. I thought they made the right call of putting it back on Trick.
Yes, I was expecting it.
The ending was like, that was the first time I was like, oh, so that's it. Okay. Like it was. They didn't stick the landing to me.
Yeah, they need to get used to having to do the hard out at 2 hours, and it's like, no, you don't have overrun anymore. You guys got to time this a little better now. The ending felt a little bit rushed, so I felt that hurt the match a little bit. Match was fine. I thought it was good. Wasn't like mind blowing or great. It did what it needed to do. There was drama, with CM Punk. I like the stuff with. I loved Ethan Page hitting the GTS on Trick just to taunt Punk. It's like, and
he's just so good as a heel.
He is. I really enjoyed it. But no, Trick winning it back. The storyline made sense. So now he joins the elite club of 2-time NXT champions. It's not a very long list, and it's like some amazing wrestlers are on that multi-time NXT championship list. So
and it just shows that hey, it's you are still the guy, Trick. You're leading us into the CW era.
Mm-hmm.
This is your and he's earned it. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just got to give him some good heel opponents. They're probably going to have a rubber match, I think, between him and Ethan because he won the title in the 4-way. Now Trick just won it back, and of course Page is going to try to win it back one more time because he's not going to. He's probably going to be like, CM Punk screwed me. It's like I deserve a rematch. Bias referee, blah blah blah.
Right.
Overall, I thought it was a good show, but I see some criticism. People think it should have been more of a banger show for your debut, but it was still a good show. I think people were expecting a little bit more surprises. Because we knew Bianca and Jay were coming, but we didn't know in what capacity. So them just kind of appearing to help Kalani was a little bit of a surprise. And we already know about Randy. So I think there's the big surprise. I think they're saving for next week, especially with being the second hour overlapping with the start of Dynamite. Motor Machine, I think Motor Machine. Can't speak.
Motor City Machine Guns.
I'm old and tired. Motor City Machine Guns are showing up next week.
Right. But yes, no, I thought it was fine and I did like when the confetti was going off, he gives Ethan Page the GTS and then Trick just turns around and was like, oh, okay. I'm still win.
Yeah, and they put out some more footage afterwards that they couldn't show because they had to be like, we need to go off the air. It's about to hit 10 o'clock. With CM Punk, letting the fans know that they were getting free pizza. So just like he did the ice cream thing when he first came back in AEW, he decided to treat everybody to pizza.
Yep. But all right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I know it's a little bit longer show, but there's a lot of stuff to cover. I mean, we had a groundbreaking news that happened in the wrestling world. If you don't think it's groundbreaking, wake up. It is. It's a big, big deal.
We got so that promo says Delta's going to make her debut at Hollywood Havoc, so that's something to look forward to.
Yep. But yes, please join us. Like I said before, please join me, Justin and myself. Justin and I don't know the right English thing. I think it's Justin and myself. This Saturday, as we live react to Bad Blood.
Join us for a watch along.
Yeah, join us for the watch along for that on there.
You can see our reaction live.
Yeah, we're going and all that. Also, if you want to join us over and talk more wrestling, there's a link down below for our Discord. So click on that and join us over there as we talk anything that is wrestling and also other things that you might be into as far as sports news and all that. Watch Justin sweat out his Yankees because they're supposed to win. They're supposed to win every year, but especially this year, they're looking really good. And then, and who's gonna like other than the Mets and the Tigers are like the hottest teams in baseball right now.
Yeah, I'd look. It's like I have a good friend of mine is a Cleveland Guardians fan, and even he's worried about them facing the Tigers because they're really red hot right now.
Yeah. But anyway, and then also too, if you want to join us, we have other things going on. Obviously, on Mondays, me and Tushka break down everything that is fantasy football. On Tuesdays, me and if you want to watch a bunch of grown men bicker about a D&D based video game, join us for Game Dudes on that. It's pretty hilarious how much we go back and forth over like gear on that. And then on Wednesdays, Soul, myself, and Tushka break down the week that was in sports. We kind of wrap everything up. And then obviously every Thursday, you can see me and Justin's face here going over the week that was, and will be in the sport of wrestling. Wrestling. And hope to bring you some more other content. We're working on some other stuff to bring you all here. We're so glad for you all to join us each and every week. Justin, it's always a pleasure to do this show with you. And we will see you all Saturday. There you go. All right. Peace.